Good morning, my friends. Happy Thursday to you. Ben and Woods 97.3. The Fan. Today is National Best Friends Day, and you're listening to three of your best friends on the radio, hopefully, or three of your worst enemies, but you still listen. I don't care. I'm just happy that you listen at the end of the day. That's really what we care about. Happy Thursday to you. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, our executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Good morning.
Paulie's running around with his hair on fire in here. Busy day on Ben and Woods. And was just looking at the screen, the countdown Paulie put together on YouTube. You can watch us on YouTube if you're so inclined. Go to youtube.com, search Ben and Woods. Click in. You can watch us do the show live. Don't know why people like it, but they do. They absolutely do. And Ben Higgins in the countdown video, I saw him at the silent disco. And it's an old clip. You went to Denver years ago.
Year one.
Yep, that was
you sucked down.
I think it was the Great American Beer Fest in Denver when Shelly and I went there.
You sucked down like 14 IPAs, and you were had the headphones on, and you look like you're at a Grateful Dead show.
After
it was incredible. Such great footage.
There's something to be said about being the only one who can hear your personal disco.
Yeah, absolutely.
No one else can hear it, just you.
That's
you're out there and you're cutting a rug.
You were definitely
my
cutting
favorite
a rug.
is you weren't listening to, Doobie Brothers,
right?
Christopher
It
Cross.
was disco.
No, he was listening to
Oh, what was it?
Coolio.
Oh, it was Coolio. Do you remember the song?
Gangster's Paradise.
Is that what it was?
I thought it was
Wasn't it?
Voyage.
Fantastic
Voyage. Might have been.
I'm alone. Yeah, and you were feeling it that day. And I said to you, I go, man, I'd like you to be that free right now. This is today, on today's show. Be that free and
I'm
easy.
always that free and easy every single morning. I don't know what you're talking about.
You are the least. When I think of you, I don't think of free and easy. You're very stringent. You have 2 jobs, a lot of responsibility. So be that free.
But in and around all of that, I'm very free.
That's
and easy.
true.
Yes,
you're right. Yeah, you're a very, very free and easy guy. That's for sure. Well, good morning to all of you guys out there listening. Just think in your head, fantastic voyage for the rest of the show. He's feeling it right now. You can see it.
Slide, slippity slide. There we go.
Yeah. I do what I do. He's dead, isn't he, Coolio?
Yeah.
He's
dead
dead
a couple years ago.
Yeah, that sucks.
Thanks for bringing us down.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. I'm off today to Tony Gwynn Day at the fair.
Oh, that's right. Tony Gwynn opening day at the San Diego County Fair.
So I'm counting the minutes till we get out of here today.
Yesterday when we drove in, all the lights were on.
Beautiful.
And this morning they weren't. I realized it was for all the TV morning shows.
Oh, yeah. They were
there yesterday. They
Yep.
turned on all the Ferris wheel lights and everything to give them a good show on TV in the morning. But this morning it was dark.
There's been
looked like what was a very busy opening day at the fair yesterday. We had all of our coverage on Channel 10. Of course.
I got 0 invites. You?
I did not go. Was not there. I did not get invited.
No, I didn't either.
We had a story about a corn dog cart or a corn dog stand that has been in existence for like 78 years or something.
Is that right?
Goes to the fair every year. They're called West Coast Weenies. And he got into some of the details of what makes a successful corn dog stand at the San Diego County Fair.
That's really the name of his business. West Coast.
Yeah, a reporter
Weenies.
asked him about the name, and he said, "Well, obviously it's got some alliteration with the West and the Weenies, and kids seem to enjoy the name, and adults seem to like it too. So they just went with it and stuck with it all those years.
Yeah, I mean it works. It absolutely works. So I'm doing that today.
Good for you
with the family. Thank you to my friend
I always remember
Corey.
it was one of the more exhausting days as a parent. Was fair day.
I'm excited.
Kids, strollers, pushing around, a lot of walking.
I'm excited about it. We love the fair. My friend Corey, his wife Molly, works there or for them, and maybe I shouldn't say he gave me tickets. Is that Plugola?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, he said I've got tickets for you, and dropped them off at my home. Very, very. I'll Venmo somebody.
If you're a member of the media in San Diego
and you paid for
paid for fair tickets, you are doing something incredibly wrong.
I
Woods.
believe we've paid for them every year since that first VIP experience that I got at the fair. But I'm excited. Yanking the kids out of school, taking them out. I'm plotting my menu in my head.
I mean, the thing about the fair, though, it's not the tickets that. That's not the trouble.
No, what are they, $14?
Yeah, you get in, it's nothing. It's not like Disneyland tickets that are 100.
You can get free tickets like at
40
Albertsons.
bucks.
Buy a thing of
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper, get 18 free fair tickets.
It's once you get in, everything, the tickets for the rides, the food, the games, nothing's really included other than walking through and looking at the animals and the exhibits. Everything else is, of course, additional.
I'm definitely going to spend at least, I would say, family of 4. I'm staring down the barrel of at least 150.
I was
Two
gonna
2 scones at
gonna
least.
Yeah, I would think so. At
With
this point.
food.
I was guessing like
I haven't been in a couple of years,
4.
but with
4.
inflation,
I'm not spending $100 on my 2-year-old's not eating $100 worth of food. My wife and I might, but there's just no way.
tickets,
Tickets will get you.
games.
All right.
Maybe they're too small to do the midway games. Those are the ones that
Parking.
always add
They
up.
get
So
you.
yeah,
And aren't those all
you're
cash
close,
too?
yeah, cash, and you want to get you don't want to win the prize. So I can do this. You spend the first $8, and then it's like, oh, no, I was close. I can do it. So then you spend it again, and now I'm really close, and I know I've got it locked in.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, that's how they get you.
That's how they get me. And they're going to get me today, I'm sure. So we're taking them today. Hannah says 200 in the chat. She's probably 200. Okay. I can deal with it. I mean, it's a lot of money for a day at the fair, just eating, food, good tasting food, not good for you.
So you said you'll have your pineapple carved out with teriyaki
chicken inside with the rice.
You'll have your corn.
Oh, gotta have the corn. We'll have a part of a cinnamon roll. They're too big to eat the whole thing. I'll need some sort of ice cream delicacy of some sort. Don't really do the fried, I don't need fried Oreos dipped in lard.
I saw deep fried
Double bacon
s'mores.
cheeseburger with
Yeah.
Krispy Kreme donuts as buns.
Yeah.
I just want a bite of that. I want the burger because I know it will be delicious, but I just want a little bit of everything. I want to try a few things, but so I got that
How
going.
did you gain all the weight?
That from going to the fair multiple times is how I gained all the weight.
Well, Larry, let me tell you what I ate yesterday.
Now that you ask. But so I got that today. Excited about it. Think it'll be packed again. Is Tony Gwynn opening day at the fair?
It won't be as packed as yesterday, but I
okay.
think every day is at least marginally packed. I
All
mean,
right.
it's not 4th of July. It's not the first Saturday. It's not opening day. So it won't be the most crowded it could be, but there's no totally empty days at the fair either.
She's
But
gonna make me. We're gonna have to take the kids to see the goats and the flowers and the massage chairs and the hot tubs. I'm staring down the barrel of like a good solid 6 hours after the show between pickup and fair and home and all that. It's gonna be. I'm excited though. I'm excited. I'll report back tomorrow on how everything went. How did everyone's day go yesterday?
I took care of since we had the NBA finals and no early newscasts. I took care of some mandatory training at work.
Which
of our
work?
Wildfire TV. Wildfire preparation. We do it every single year. It's mandatory for everybody in the building, actually, just because when we have the big fires here in San Diego,
It's that season.
it's
It
all,
is.
yeah, that's why they're doing it now. It's all hands on deck. So, we go through all of our safety protocols when you're covering a fire. And I'm rarely someone who goes out into the field, but you might be called on to
Yeah, you might
help
have
out.
to.
They have extra crews. I've had to do it a couple of times before. Usually I'm part of the studio coverage of some sort when that happens, but we went through all of the
Have
procedures.
you had
And
to do that in the past, like for
yeah,
big
couple,
ones, like
couple of times for the
scary-
big ones.
scary
Yeah,
fires?
I've had to go out. I was never on like the absolute front lines, but they talk about, monitoring. You keep the engine to the truck running, pointed outwards, ready to go. Because fire trucks will do the same thing when they pull in,
Damn, I
get
didn't
close
know
to the
that.
fire. They always keep the engine running and they always park,
Just
pointed,
in
and
case.
it's time to
Ow.
book.
because if you have to get out, sometimes you have to get out really fast. Because as firefighters and journalists, they're allowed behind the fire line, behind the evacuation lines
Right.
to cover. But part of that is the responsibility of you got to be safe and you've got to know hey, if you see the firefighters moving, you better be moving very fast, because if they're getting out of there, you know that it may be a lost cause in that area, and you've got to move on and get out of there to be safe. So.
It's funny that you bring up survival. I was driving in again this morning, and I was looking around my car. And have we done the bit before? Because I saw a story yesterday of a 10-year-old girl that got separated from her family in the woods, and she survived one night. Like it said, very resourceful 10-year-old survives night in the woods. And I thought to myself, I could do a night in the woods, I think, now. At 10, no chance. I would have curled up and died in a ball, right? Like a 10-year-old Ben, is he making it through a night in the woods?
Probably not, although I guess it depends on the temperature and what woods we're in.
But I was thinking, you're talking about survival. Have we done the bit before? You're driving in your car, you drive off a cliff, you're down at the bottom of a gully. You're fine, but you're pinned in your car, but you're stuck in your car. How long could you survive in your car with what you have in your car? Like, do you have stuff in your car in case something like that happens?
Are you surviving on Mentos?
Yeah. Are you eating gum?
4 days.
Are you eating cigarettes? What are you eating? Like, Paulie and I sucking down Zins, the little nicotine packs. What are you eating in your car? Do you have water? Do you have food?
I don't.
I have like a couple of
I've
loose
loaded
bottles
up
of
my
water.
car like in the past when we've had nasty fires. Like when I lived in East County,
Oh, yeah.
like Santee had a bunch of big fires at the time. And my house was up on the hill, and there was a big dry area like leading up to my backyard.
It's basically a fire ramp.
Yes,
right
it
up
was
to
a
your
fire
house.
ramp. And like they were saying, like, hey, just be ready, be ready. So like I packed up a bunch of stuff and just put it in the back of the car.
Just in
case. Because it's like, dude, when it's time to go, it's too late to pack.
But that's
That point.
different. If you go off a cliff,
Yeah, I don't have it just sitting in my car.
what do you have in your car? Like,
Hmm.
I've got food that my kids leave in their car seats. There's some crackers. I can make it about a day.
Sometimes I'll load up and I'll have a few bags of like candy, like some gummy bears or
Yeah.
things like that. But sometimes I'll be out of them and then I won't have anything.
Where do you
So
reload that?
I like the new store. It's called Five Below.
Oh yeah, you told me about
Yeah,
this.
they have like the Haribos for just like $1.
Do you load them like in your middle console
Yeah.
and reach in traffic and just
Yes.
eat gummy bears?
Yeah, exactly.
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Well, save some in case you do end up going.
Yeah,
off
I should
the
always
cliff.
have some, and just in case.
Much
That's-
like this
yeah,
show.
I mean, we're supposed to have like go bags ready. Just
Yeah,
extra clothes.
I'm not a prepared guy.
I'm really not.
I'm
either.
not. I'm not super prepared for. I am interested in Doom prepping. I'm fascinated by those that are prepped for Doom. But I would find myself, knowing myself, I would have a really cool Doom prepared station, but I would kind of be wanting something to happen. Like that's why you prepare in case something does. But I'd be like, well, I've got all this stuff. I'm kind of ready for something to go down.
It feels like a timely conversation with what's happening up there in Canada.
Yes,
Saw the
holy
pictures from New
smoke.
York City yesterday, just with the smoke. Yes, the holy smoke rolling in and turning. I mean, we've seen it here in San Diego a couple of times when we've had bad wildfires when the sun turns red and everything looks kind of orange.
My
and
buddy just
gray.
him and his
It's
wife just
scary.
landed in New York City yesterday, and they posted some pictures, and they're like, "Whole."
It's like the apocalypse, man. It's crazy. It looks nuts there.
Like I think that he wrote it's like it's 2 p.m. in the afternoon right now. And
Yeah.
it's dark orange,
Red and orange.
red. Yeah, it's
Very-
creepy.
Very, very interesting stuff. And we got some preppers in the chat, got their go bags ready. Good for you guys. I need to follow your lead. We got a fun show today. We're talking to our pal Eno Saris at 8:35. Yeah, this team is wild, man. Just absolutely wild. We're gonna unpack some narratives again. I've got 3 or 4 narratives that I've seen a lot of, and let me ask you this question, just leading into the show, Ben. Is the way that the Padres are currently playing make all of these narratives false, or are they all real? And we'll talk about the narratives, right? The preparedness of the team, the game plan of the team, the approach of the team. Why is it good every other day? And why is it poor every other day? I cannot wait to unpack what we saw yesterday at Petco Park. Nobody knows.
You sound
anything.
surprised.
Nobody knows anything. No one. Nobody. You know, we say we get paid to talk about this team. We know nothing. Nothing.
Daily Diddy is coming up next. Daniel won Take on Woods yesterday, so listener selection coming up. And then we are off and running with our Padres wrap-up and more on a Thursday morning. Glad to have everybody with us. For Ben and Woods, let's get first check of traffic with Kelly. We get started here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's another great. I mean, you guys, the people this week. This is She by Green Day. Welcome back to Ben and Woods 97.3 The Fan, our daily ditty segment. Daniel beat the snot out of me yesterday and got to pick. And it's bands.
And, listeners don't always stay on
they don't
topic.
They don't. And
with the ditty.
Bands whose most famous single is probably their worst song. And it's probably not the worst song. It's mostly just because it's just overplayed like crazy. But Paulie did Fountains of Wayne, Stacy's Mom. That is, in fact, that's a top 10 worst song of all time. Ben, you did.
I picked Dire Straits.
Dire Straits. Because the
Money for Nothing
is awful.
Their worst song.
But you picked So Far Away.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what I picked.
Yeah, when Daniel gave me his daily ditty yesterday after Take on Woods, he said, All right, I'll stick with the theme. He goes, let's do Boulevard of Broken Dreams. And just knowing how that song is and how people can feel about it, I go, just to make sure.
You like that?
You don't like that song? He's like, worst song I've ever heard in my life. I go, okay, so we're not picking that song.
Right.
You pick another song by Green Day.
It's basically
that you like.
Don't judge a band by their top single. Judge them by some of the other songs, and that was the assignment. Everyone has knocked it out of the park this week, certainly, and that was no exception. He did Boulevard of Broken Dreams is objectively not the greatest Green Day attempt at a song, but She is a very, very good song. So Daniel, you knocked that out of the park, just like you wiped the floor with me and Take on Woods yesterday.
It's like, dude, if aliens land and want to hear some Green Day, punk rock, Green Day, hey, don't give them that song.
Don't give them.
There are so many other choices that you could give them.
Absolutely. So the chat is going ham this morning, which is great. The YouTube chat, you can go again, watch us on YouTube. YouTube.com, and you can search Ben and Woods. And yeah, man, so many people in there. Give it a like, smash that subscribe button, and we roll, right?
We do.
We
got our Padres wrap up coming up. But before we get into the game, I wanted to mention last night. Did you watch any of the NBA Finals?
I absolutely did. I texted you guys about
Yes, you did. Historic performance by Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. Not just in the playoffs or in the finals, but ever. No teammates had ever had a 30-point triple-double in the same game, and they both did it. Jokic went 32, 21, 10. Murray went 34, 10, 10. And the Denver Nuggets took a 2-1 series lead, redeemed themselves after losing at home in game 2. But I thought it was interesting. Did you see the comments after the game by Jimmy Butler?
I did.
He was very candid, as he always is.
Yeah,
one of the things you love about Jimmy Butler,
the Heat. I really did.
And he said he thought his team just was lacking energy in the game. He says, I don't know. I can't answer that. Maybe we're at home. We think we did something. I don't know. It just can't happen. It won't happen again. That he thinks their team under the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the NBA Finals, knowing you just tied this series, you're 3 wins away from a championship, essentially came out kind of flat in one of the biggest games of the season. And we were texting yesterday about a comment that Fernando Tatis Jr. made after the game yesterday about just basically, what's with the inconsistency. And he goes, it's baseball. Sometimes you just don't have good games. Essentially, I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but
read the quote, because people want us to talk about this. And Paulie,
people were losing their minds. I had to look at this for myself.
Well, read the text thread, because this was interesting. Paulie said, basically, Kevin Acee,
Acee put out a quote linking to his game story.
Right.
The quote was, coming into the season, there has been a lot of expectation, especially with the talent that we have, Fernando Tatis Jr. said afterward. And people just expect us to do this every single day. It's like, no, this is baseball. But at the end of the day, for sure, we're going to have more of those days than the bad ones.
So, Paulie, you texted that.
I'm looking at the replies. Kevin's getting ratioed. The quote tweets, the replies. People are going bananas.
And I said to Paulie, I go, this is exactly why I'm so happy that I'm not on Twitter, because that quote is about as innocuous of a quote as you could have.
Ben said, I read the quote in the story and it didn't even occur to me that people might not like that.
That would not have occurred to me either. Then Paulie sent some screen grabs of some of the tweets I saw, and I went, oh, wow. And I mean, like, people were livid about that quote. And I just said, man, that's honestly the primary reason why I don't want to get into those weeds every day, because I would have spent my day responding to, John 7469469444 saying, you're really upset about that.
Yeah, well, take that quote and think about, what he said in context of it's baseball, where you're not going 4 for 4 every single day. Essentially talking about the ups and downs of a sport that's filled with them. And then imagine if Fernando Tatis Jr. then had said, after game 3 of the World Series, in which the Padres lost to the Astros, 6-1, and he came out and goes, yeah, we just didn't have a lot of energy tonight. Don't know why. Just came out flat, didn't have it. I mean, that's what Jimmy Butler just did. Game 3 of the NBA Finals, and admitted his team was flat.
And that still doesn't, even if I'm a Heat fan, I'm not super. I don't think I'm super, like, that's an honest assessment. And it showed. It showed if you watch the game, they got outworked. They did. They got out hustled, loose balls, out
the rebounding numbers, like
dude.
20 more rebounds for the Nuggets.
Now, and really, like, that's something you can look at and say, man, under the boards, we've got to be better. I mean, I watched Gordon get a putback, go up, miss it, get another one, go up, miss it. Another guy came flying in. He gets the putback and lays in it. And 3 Heat guys standing in the paint going, oh, you guys are trying to get it in. And they were just standing there. So you can't get outworked. You can't. But baseball's weird, man. It's weird. It's not basketball. You don't want to come out all high energy and hopped up. Now, I can't understand why people
and that's not what Fernando Tatis
That's
Jr.
not what he was saying at
either.
all. He's just saying, like, these are the weird ups and downs of a baseball season. He still feels the problem is with this team. We're going to get into this next. We just don't know who this team is. We just don't know. Are they the 10-run team? Are they the 1-run team? We don't know. They won't tell us.
Somebody said that's a weak mindset. Somebody said, I'm going to break that freaking violin they keep pulling out. You've got to be kidding me with this. I expect standard work effort every day. I've been disappointed.
No.
This guy says Soto is a garbage time hitter.
Holy smokes. The work ethic, I don't know that you can question it. I think you as a fan and we can and they can question the results. And we're going to talk to Bob Melvin tomorrow. Bob Melvin's going to be on the program. Long tease for you. He's going to be our Friar Friday guest. And I mean, it's the most, I'm going to ask him, have you ever seen anything like this?
No.
Have you ever seen a feast or famine type scene? Because that's what this is. It's feast. And I mean feast. Like smorgasbord of food, shoveling,
I mean, we're talking best team in baseball on a Monday,
or the worst
team in baseball on a Tuesday.
It is truly, truly incredible. I don't think we're giving enough credit to how rare and incredible this is. And we'll talk about that next. And you guys can weigh in as well. Were you upset by those comments? And if you were, why? Why were you upset by that?
We got some Legion tickets to give away right now as well. Give away a few this week, and this is your first opportunity from us. Call now, 833-288-0973. Ketchum Rugby. They've got a big game against Seattle coming up on June 18th. Tickets are on sale now at sdlegion.com, or you can be the third caller at 833-288-0973. Win some tickets. Head on down to Snapdragon Stadium. This game team is headed to the playoffs. They're the favorites to win the championship right now. You can see them in person by calling in and winning some tickets here from the Ben & Woods program on a Thursday. And we will be back with all the highlights of a 10-run outburst, a 5-hit performance by Juan Soto, another Gary Sanchez home run. Hear Jesse's calls of all of it coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. and all four. CalHope can help. Access CalHope's free and secure mental health resources today. Call or text 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org. I apologize. That was
Is it fun
gratuitous and
to
mean.
make fun of my mental health?
I'm not making fun. I was
issues?
just pointing out that they do exist from time to time.
What were they again?
Stressed, anxious, worried, frustrated.
That's, I mean,
every Padre fan is feeling all four of those over the last couple of weeks.
Parenthood, too. Parenthood gets me a lot. I had therapy yesterday, and, I spent a lot of time in there talking about the kids. So, fantastic. Highly recommended. Highly recommended.
All right, we're going to get to our highlights, our Padres wrap up, all of Jesse's calls of yesterday's 10-3 win right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Cadillac of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danek.
Traffic is sponsored by the all-new Premier Buick GMC of Carlsbad. Couple problems here, guys. One of them is this collision on southbound 15 before Miramar Road, not showing if lanes are blocked. Couple vehicles involved, and you're still going to find the F Street off-ramp of westbound King Freeway blocked, all due to a structure fire in the area. Premier Buick GMC of Carlsbad with all new 2023 GMC Sierra 1500 elevation package trucks, $4,000 off MSRP, over 15 in stock to choose from. Stop in or shop online at carlsbadbuickgmc.com, a proud member of the Premier Carlsbad family of dealers. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Miss any of yesterday's Padres game?
Did you catch a game last night?
Well, we've got you covered.
Thank you.
It's the Padres wrap-up with Ben and Woods.
Go! It's our house right here, baby.
Presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else. On 97.3 The Fan.
That is the ball game, and that is a winner.
This about damn time.
And a hard hit grounder through the right side and a base hit. Sanchez will come in to score, and Matt Carpenter gives the Padres a 1-0 lead. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And that's hit in the air to deep left center field. Kelenich's going to go back. He's on the warning track, looking up, going to go. Gary Sanchez at it again. A 3-run home run. And the Padres rally with 2 outs here in the 3rd inning and extend their lead. It's 4-0. Kirby set. Here's the pitch. And that's lined into left field, a base hit. Fernando will come in to score, and yet another 2-out base hit. 5-0 San Diego here in the 4th inning.
Bravo, Soto.
And Rivas waits on it, lines it through the left side and a base hit. Cronenworth is on to score. Carpenter stops at 3rd. Padres score again. An RBI single for Alfonso Rivas. His first RBI as a Padre. And now 6-0 San Diego in the 5th. Saucedo comes set at the belt. He kicks and fires. The 2-0 pitch is lined into right field. That gets down for a base hit. Carpenter's on his way home. Rivas right behind him. The throw goes to 3rd. No chance to get Tatis. A 2-run single for Juan Soto. He's 4 for 4, and the Padres lead it 8-0. Here's the 1-2. Soto swings, lines it into right center field. A base hit for Juan Soto. Grisham comes in to score. Soto going to try for 2. Hernandez throw not in time. And for the first time in his career, Juan Soto, a 5-hit game.
No, and really, going the other way. That's kind of what he's known for, too. So he's been working on that. And then when you get some results and you hit a couple balls, one that way and now another one that way. And so today used the whole field and got 5 hits. That's quite a day. But runners in scoring position, moving the line. Really just the one home run by Gary, but guys just moving the line.
Yeah, we had Corey Brock yesterday on, covers the Mariners, talked about how good George Kirby has been for that team this season. Very solid starting pitcher. And the Padres chased him from the game fairly early and put up 10 runs yesterday.
Fairly easily.
It's great, but it's baffling. It's totally baffling at this point.
Yeah, while I was watching, I put on Channel 4, just as not to go too far off the path. Anybody watch the before the pregame was on?
I did not see the pregame.
Did anybody see what was on the programming that was on before the pregame show?
No.
We put it on, and it was
I feel like typically I see nothing but Prep Sports or
No,
random
This would only
college
be on Cox
stories.
Cable, not any of the
This was
other,
on Cox Cable.
Yeah.
Because at my house, I've got Cox.
because you'll get different programs on different outlets. Like I watch on DirecTV, so I don't have anything. It just
You have no Cox.
it's a blank channel until the Padres game comes on.
It's just blank.
Yeah, it's just nothing on there, and then the Padres game comes on.
There was some sort of religious programming, and it was really delving into circumcision right before the game. So it was a nice way to get prepared for a Padres game, talking about circumcision. So that was fun.
Okay.
Then the pregame starts, and Sweens, Palm are talking about, hey, and I'm not making fun of them. I thought the same thing. We said the same thing. Here's their pregame. Hey, Padres got their work cut out for him today. George Kirby is he is a strikeout pitcher. He is really
Doesn't walk anybody.
Padres cannot hit the fastball. This guy throws 60% fastballs. Padres are up against it, and I'm sweating because it's all the stuff that we knew this. And that's the just stupid, confounding thing about this team, the sport, just the sport in general. It doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense. Padres are not getting to the fastball this year at all. They've been one of the worst fastball hitting teams. Guy comes in with one of the better fastballs in the league. Put the wood to
But
him.
against Jamison
It
Tyyoung,
was terrible.
throws slop terrible.
92.
Padres can't get anything
Can't
going.
get a thing going.
Last Friday.
Yeah.
I was just looking ahead at the next series against the Rockies. I was terrified. Their three starters, according to ESPN, are Austin Gomber, 6.99 ERA, undecided, and Dinelson and Lamet, 12.42 ERA. Padres have no chance.
We
in
are
this
dead.
series.
We're dead. We're dead. I mean, just toast. Be lucky to get out of there with a win at this point, based on how things are going. Paul, you have the thing that we worked on?
Yeah, you ready for that?
I'm ready because I want to do this. This is an audio medium here, the radio. It's one thing for us to come in and tell you, hey, in the last 2 weeks, they're 7-7. Is that right? They're like
8-7. I
8-7
believe, with
In
yesterday's
15 games.
15
yeah.
games playing, 500 baseball, a little bit better.
That
It's-
happens when you alternate wins and losses.
That's exactly right. And I thought about something as I was leaving my doctor yesterday, and I started laughing hysterically and called Paul immediately and asked him, do you remember when we did Padres Heartbeat? And he started laughing. He goes, I do. And I said, do you remember what we used? He says, I do. And I said, I'm going to need the Padres Heartbeat for the last 2 weeks. So this is going back
It's
to
an audio representation of
the
how,
record.
like a chunk of time during the season, and it really gives you an idea of how your team is playing.
That's exactly right. So we start right around.
It was
We start on the first game of the National
We had
Series.
the Red Sox series at home, so
Yep.
and then they went to DC,
Yep, New
New
York,
York, Miami, and then back home. So we're starting with that
Right.
road trip
Miami,
heading to DC.
2 weeks ago.
This is how it sounded.
Yes.
Ding it.
Yes. Yes.
Ding it. Ding it.
Yes.
Ding it.
Yes.
Ding it.
Yes.
Ding it.
Yes.
Ding it.
Yes. If that's not a roller coaster of
That's
emotion,
Padres baseball in a
I
nutshell, right
don't
there.
know what is.
Specifically, if you're tracking it over the last 9 games, 9 runs, 1 run, 10 runs, 1 run, 6 runs, 1 run, 5 runs, 1 run, 10 runs.
It's staggering. It's staggering. So let's talk narratives. What are some of the narratives that we are seeing? What are some of the narratives that we have thrown out there into the universe? All right, I'll start. Bob Melvin is not motivating this team enough. Give me the runs again.
9 runs, 1 run, 10 runs, 1 run, 6 runs, 1 run, 5 runs, 1 run, 10 runs.
So Bob comes in on Monday. Fiery, impassioned speech. They go out, they put up 10 runs. The next, he gets hammered that night. Just hammered. Shows up late, scraggling in, 2-day-old beard, pours himself a cup of coffee, looks around, puts a little Jim Beam in the cup, just the hair of the dog. Says, these guys played great yesterday. I'm not going to say a word to them. They go out, they score 1 run. Next day, he comes, baby, this can't happen. He gets them fired up. Is this what's happening? So Bob Melvin on even days is getting the team fired up. Bob Melvin is a good manager on even days. That narrative is crap. It's always been crap.
Doesn't really change much from day
All
to
right.
day.
Ryan Flaherty, boy, on Monday. On Sunday night, he spends 12 hours delving into the Washington Nationals pitching staff and has those guys ready to play. They know a game plan, they have an approach, they go out and execute it to perfection. He goes out in Washington and says, I want to go to the White House and do the White House tour. I'm going to slack on getting the guys ready. They seem like they're locked in. I'm not even going to prepare. I'm just going to tell them, keep doing what you're doing. They go out and they score 1 run. No, that's not the case. So he's a good game planner, offensive coordinator every other day, right? That would be the narrative, that he doesn't know what he's doing. But he does on like 3 days a week, 4 days a week he does. The other 3 he doesn't. Those are 2 narratives we've heard. Those are 2 narratives we've thought. Those are narratives I asked AJ Preller about. And AJ Preller name-checked Ryan Flaherty as somebody that he really respects and says is doing a great job. How do you coach consistency? How do you tell your guys, all right, spread some of these runs out? Give me your run differential stat you gave me yesterday that almost blew my mind.
So the Padres are now in the National League. They have the 4th best run differential, closing in on the Diamondbacks, who are 3rd in the league. So essentially, if you just take the season collectively, like if every inning was just all part of one long game,
right,
that the Padres were playing, that every team just played one long game all season, Padres would be the 4th best team in the National League. But obviously, you chop them up into 9-inning chunks, and the Padres have done not nearly as well. They have the 12th best record or 11th best record in the National League, despite the 4th best run differential. They have chopped the season up very poorly based on the runs they've scored and allowed. And you know what? Obviously, tongue in cheek, trying to see, is it the manager? Is it the hitting coach?
Obviously.
We know, we've asked plenty of times, they don't really know themselves what the problem is inside the organization. They've been trying to figure out, just like fans have been trying to figure out. I put a little more thought to it yesterday. This may be the dumbest theory that you've heard yet.
I've heard some dumb.
But hey, we all have one, so I'm going to throw it out there.
I'm nervous.
It feels like if the Padres just kind of break the seal, if they can just get up like 1 or 2, they loosen up and then they start hitting. But when they're down like 1-0 and it just doesn't come. They just try to keep squeezing. It feels like, this is more of a mental issue, that no matter what the score is, whether they're up 1, they're up 5, they're tied, they're down 3, they should always kind of approach the game. We're ahead by 2 right now.
Yeah.
And we're trying to add on. We're comfortably ahead, but hey, we're certainly not, we're not in cruise control mode. We got a good opponent here. They could come back on us. We just need to add on to our 2-run lead right now. Whatever the situation is, that feels like that's when the Padres are always at their best. That they're got a little bit of a cushion, they're up, and they just let it go, and they can start adding on, pouring on runs.
There is no explanation for what we're seeing. And again, Ben, it's not like when they win, they eked out a 5-3 victory. I mean, it is a feast or it is a famine. And I've never seen that before. I still don't know if they're a good team or a bad team.
Are they a good team that's underperforming, or are they a bad team that gets lucky every other day?
Yeah, you don't get lucky off George Kirby. You don't get lucky off of some of the guys they've beaten and then lose to Jameson Taillon. You just don't. A good team, in my opinion, beats Jameson Taillon, and a good team can lose to a Marcus Stroman or a Logan Gilbert, as we saw. There is no middle ground. There's no 6-5. There's no 4-1.
I can tell you one thing:
or 4-3.
A team that doesn't win close games will not have a good season.
No question.
At some point,
they
have to win close games. In their last 14 games decided by 1 or 2 runs, they're 1-13. They have to win some close games soon, or the season will be lost. I promise you that.
No question.
All right, we'll come back. Woods made a fairly spicy comment yesterday. If you missed it, we'll come back with that more.
Yes. Yes.
Ding it. Ding it.
Yes.
Ding it.
Yes.
Ding it.
Yes.
Ding it.
Yes.
Ding it.
Yes. Kills me every time. The
But,
Padres
I
heartbeat.
mean, one of the interesting things about that, all the yeses are wins, all the dang it's are losses over the last 15 games, Paulie.
Yeah.
Every single one of those yeses is by at least 3 runs. Most of the dang it's are by 1 or 2 runs. As I just told you, the last 14 1 or 2 run games, Padres are 1-13 in those close ones. And you just can't, there's no chance a team, what do we keep saying? Padres just need to go on a little streak.
Right.
8 of 9, 6 in a row,
Yeah.
14 of 17, whatever, and they'll be fine. They have the capability of doing that. But no team really has the capability of winning 9 straight games by 5 runs each. The competition is too good. Baseball doesn't work that way. You're going to play about half of those games are going to be close games. Baseball is built so that you get a lot of 1 and 2 run games. Hey, it's great that the Padres are winning the ones that are not that close. It's nice. It's comfortable. It's fun. But if you don't win those close games, no chance you get where you want to go at the end of the season. Padres must turn around that stat. 1-run losses, 2-run losses. They must turn that around.
Who's that fall on? In my opinion, it's on the players to execute in those games. That's just kind of where I'm trying to think back. Bob has not pushed every right button this year. He hasn't. He's
No manager
has.
or will.
Even Kevin Cash, has not pushed every right button. You're going to have clunkers. I think the fan base can accept clunkers, right? It's hard to swallow is massive inconsistency, and that's what we've seen.
The problem is also they don't put a sign up before the game of what kind of game it's
This
going
will be
to be.
A close game.
This is going to be a low-scoring, close game.
Manage accordingly.
Bob Melvin, the last couple of games, has managed like it's going to be.
What if you knew that as
last
the fan?
couple of wins?
You got tickets to Friday's game,
you
don't
look at
know-
the calendar. It's a close game tonight.
but you don't know who's gonna. You're not
Right.
like, oh, the Padres are gonna blow them out, or the Padres are gonna
No,
get
you
blown
just know
out.
it's a close
It's
game.
gonna be a blowout, or it's gonna be a close game. That would suck.
Yeah, if you knew our
we basically have for the last.
Hey, we
week.
got Joe on the mound, but I don't think he's going to do well. I think he's going to give up 7 runs. You shouldn't be bunting for 1 run then. You should
Correct.
be playing for big innings. But they don't tell you what's going to happen
swear to
before the
God,
game starts.
Now they're playing in Colorado this weekend.
Sure.
That's the wild card.
All bets are
all
off.
bets are off.
You should
at
never be
Coors
bunting
Field.
in Colorado.
Never.
But if
You're always
this
playing for the big
weekend,
inning.
if they were playing at Petco Park this weekend, I would bet the freaking house that they score 1 run.
Jesse Agler apparently on the broadcast yesterday, and I didn't hear this. Somebody DM'd me and said on the broadcast, after, they'd put up this barrage and 17, 18 hits, whatever it was, scored 10 runs. He said, if history serves, that means that the Padres will score 1 run in Colorado on Friday night. And I think he's even said, if that happens, I'm not coming to work Saturday. There's just no way.
1 run against Austin Gomber with his 7 ERA at Coors Field.
Correct.
Maybe they pretend to play a game today, score 1 run in their mind.
Yes.
And then come back tomorrow thinking, okay, now it's our scoring day.
Yeah, a little scrimmage, if you will, something, anything, whatever it takes. I'm very much looking forward to asking Bob Melvin about this tomorrow. I know he doesn't know the answer, but it will be fun to kick it around with him and just ask him, have you ever seen anything like this? Been in baseball a long time. That is a baseball lifer. Played the game at the highest level, won at the highest levels, managed at the highest level, coached at the highest level. He knows baseball. And I have never seen this, man.
When
Never
Bob
seen
comes
this.
on, he'll appear on our Premier
He
Chevrolet of
will.
Carlsbad fan
Very
hotline.
good.
Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. If you want to get on the line to play Real or Fake on a Throwback Thursday, your chance to qualify for a trip for 2 to Las Vegas. We had an 0 for 7 performance last week, if I remember, on Real or Fake. So I'm
That
expecting
was a
better
tough
today.
scene. Yeah.
833-288-0973. Call and be our contestant. Play our game here in the next 5 minutes. Mention something you said on the show yesterday,
Yeah.
which I thought was a little spicy, just because, hey, we're the flagship station. We're trying to we want this product to look good.
Whoops.
You said Padres baseball has been boring
It has.
to you. And, I think the initial thought was, well, is it boring because of the style of baseball that they play? And I go, but they have exciting players. Fernando Tatis Jr. is exciting. Juan Soto going 5 for 5 is exciting. I don't like to miss those at-bats. They've got good pitchers. I love watching you pitch, Joe pitch. I like watching pitch. And it may be, some gut wrenching, but he does some spectacular things.
You do feel boring. You do feel alive when Blake Snell
because last
pitches.
season didn't feel boring at all.
No,
last season was a thrill ride.
It really was.
And it's the same team. So what's different? And talked about this after the show. There are a variety of outcomes in baseball. Like yesterday, the Padres won big. That's very satisfying. Not particularly exciting. There were several innings of that game that, I wasn't locked into because the Padres are up 10 and I know they're going to win. And there's just not a lot of drama in a big win.
I might have dozed off for 20
exactly.
minutes. I did.
Losses also are, they can be exciting, but for the most part, a loss is a loss. You're not going to feel that thrill as a fan when your team loses. And the Padres have had, a lot of close losses this season. But the real exciting and non-boring baseball are the close wins, the come from behinds, the walk-offs, the one-run wins where you're nail-biting the closer in the last inning and he comes up with a big strikeout. And last season, the Padres had a ton of them. They had all the Jorge Alfaro walk-offs. They had one of the best records in one-run games. They played a lot of close ones. They had drama in the ninth inning all the time. Walk-offs, celebrations. It was exciting because of the outcomes last year. This year, I just gave you the stat. They're horrible in 1- and 2-run games. Yes, they're winning, about half their games, just under half their games, but most of those haven't been particularly exciting because they've won them by 4, 5, 6, 7 runs like yesterday. So they're not playing those thrilling close games when they win. So you're not getting the same kind of excitement that we got last season from the Padres. It's all, I think, a result of the outcomes, not necessarily because they're just not playing exciting baseball anymore. Or it's not the scoreboard that's telling you that.
Not that they're not exciting players. I love watching Ha-Seong Kim play defense. I love watching Manny play defense. I love watching Juan Soto hit. I love watching Fernando Tatis do anything. They're exciting guys, but you're right. And that to me, Johnny just in the chat said, so by this definition, there's been one exciting game this season. Yeah, pretty much. Overall, the product has been.
I think there's been more than one. It's only the last 14. They have some 1- and 2-run wins. The Rougned Odor 9th inning, home run game in Washington. That was exciting, right? That was an exciting game that the Padres won against the Nationals, but probably count them on no more than 1 or 2 hands. The games that you could truly say were exciting Padres wins this year.
Technically, even some of the losses aren't boring.
No, but they don't hit the same way.
No, of course not. But they're not boring. Like, whether you blow a big lead, like you're invested.
Okay, yes, but almost all of those 1- and 2-run losses have been because the Padres have only scored 1 or 2 runs.
Right.
They're 2-1, they're 3-2.
I'm thinking like that one of the New York games where they just fell apart, and you're like, "What the f is happening?" Like it evoked emotion. It wasn't boring.
Yeah, that 10-7 loss to the Yankees was a little more exciting.
Yeah,
but there's been very few of those. No. This season as well. A lot of the losses have been 3-1, where you're just kind of stymied on offense, and you're right there. You can see the brass ring is right there. Hey, 1 rally, 1 hit, we've got it, and it just never comes.
The freaking Odor bomb was incredible, absolutely incredible, exciting, makes your heart stop. But we had, like you said, we had 11, 12 of those last year, and we're not winning any of those close games now. So, hence a fairly boring season so far, and kind of a boring record, and blowout or loss is not a fun ride.
2 pieces of good news before we play real or fake. 1, still 100 games left.
Correct.
62 down, 100 to go.
Do you want us to count to 100?
No.
To let everybody know.
The other is that, believe it or not, the people who have studied baseball for a long time will tell you
8, 9.
The record in close games will even out over time.
Right.
It's not something that is consistent over teams. There aren't teams that just are good in close games and bad in close games. It tends to be a statistical anomaly. And I'm not saying the Padres are going to go on some run and win 13 out of 14 close games, but they shouldn't continue to lose 13 out of 14 close games going forward. That is not supported by the statistics or the history.
Well, I'm talking about exciting real quick because I know we have real or fake. We have don't do this, and then we have Craig Ellison. I want to make sure we get this in. You know who wasn't boring yesterday? It was Juan Soto.
Juan Soto had a day.
Juan Soto had a day.
5 for 5, 4 stakes.
I was surprised he's never had a 5-hit day before,
A little bit.
given how good he is.
I mean,
It's hard to do.
It is.
I
hard
think
to
the
get
most
5
I ever had in
I-
a game was 3 for 3, and I almost soiled myself coming up for my 4th at bat. You're a train wreck. To get 2 more on top of that is incredible.
But
And he is a brilliant, brilliant hitter when he's locked in.
yeah, he was the engine yesterday for the Padres. And after the game, Bob Melvin was asked his thoughts on what led to the team's big offensive day at the plate. And this made me laugh this morning.
What impressed you most today about your team's offensive attack?
Juan. No, and really, going the other way.
Tell me you pulled that and have it forever. Juan.
Juan.
What impressed you most today about your team's offensive attack?
Juan.
True. Yeah.
What a drop that is.
Juan.
Dude. Juan.
Juan.
Juan. That's incredible. Juan.
Juan.
I love that, dude. I love that.
All right, let me just quickly
One.
like this. So over the last 10 games, I have it right here. Over the last 9 games, the Padres have scored 9. They scored 9,
Juan.
10,
Juan.
6,
Juan.
5,
Juan.
and 10 over their last 9 games.
Tomorrow night,
Juan.
No. Not gonna
No,
happen.
you can't.
Sunday,
Juan.
Tuesday.
Juan.
I think they're off on Monday, so that'll be Wednesday when they score 1.
Juan.
Yeah.
Good Lord. What'd you like about yesterday? Juan.
Juan.
I mean, he was incredible. Incredible.
What
5.
impressed you most today about your team's offensive attack?
1.
Juan.
All right, we got people calling in. Let's play today's game, real or fake.
Some are here for the compelling sports talk with Ben and Woods.
Juan.
You can go plow through another donut. It's time for Real or Fake on 97.3 The Fan. Tell the people what they'll win today.
The people, here's what you'll win today. We're going for the grand prize qualification of a 2-night stay at Resorts World Las Vegas and 2 tickets to Luke Bryan, the 5-time Entertainer of the Year, performing August 30th to September 9th at the Resorts World Theater. Tickets and VIP packages on sale now at access.com. That's AXS.com and RWLasVegas.com. And Real or Fake is brought to you by West Coast is brought to you by Home Turf. Save time and water with pet-friendly, always green grass, and get a free consultation by calling the team at Home Turf at 888-4SD-TURF or go to sdhometurf.com. All right, let's go to Victor. You on the line there, Victor?
Good morning, guys.
Good morning. All right, you're a contestant today on Real or Fake. You need to get 4 out of 7 right, and we'll put you into the grand prize drawing. Here is your category today. San Diego County Fair is underway, and I've obtained a list of all of this year's Fun Zone rides. Today on Real or Fake, I'll give you a name. You tell me if it's a real ride at this year's fair or a fake I have made up for our game. Feel free to ask Woods for help, although he's not going until today. So that might make it a little tougher. Victor, are you ready to play?
Let's do it, guys.
All right, round 1. Crazy Mouse. Real or fake ride at the fair? Victor?
I'm going to say fake.
That one is real.
Damn it.
It's a roller coaster that, like, the car twists back and forth. Sounds uncomfortable to me. All right, that's all right. Let's go to round number 2. Real or fake? Moonraker. Moonraker. Is that a ride at the fair, Victor?
I think that's real,
What do you think
buddy.
would be?
I think it's real. I think I wrote it with my kid, and I think it goes forward and backwards. I'm pretty positive
All
it's
right,
real.
you say real, Victor. The answer?
I do. Yes, real.
That's correct.
Yes.
It's actually a spinning spaceship ride, Moonraker.
Does it go backwards?
I don't
also?
know if it goes
I
backwards.
feel like it does.
I think it makes you nauseous, though, one way or
Victor
another.
needs 4 to win
Yeah,
it.
He's
That-
got, how many does he have right now?
What does he have?
Juan.
Yes,
1.
one,
Okay,
right.
you need 3 more, Victor. All right, round 3. Flying Jumbo. Real or fake, Victor?
I'm going to say I'm gonna say fake.
That one is real.
Damn it.
It is, as you'd expect, it's a flying elephant ride that doesn't quite infringe on Disney trademarks.
Flying Jumbo.
Flying Jumbo.
Smart.
All right, still 1 out of 3. It's all right, it's not over yet. Round 4, Victor. Whiplash, real or fake, San Diego County Fair ride. Whiplash.
I'm gonna go with fake.
Correct. You may get Whiplash on some of the
The wife
rides.
did, actually.
But there is no ride named Whiplash. All right, that's 2. You're halfway there. You've got 3 chances left. Victor, round 5. Creep Show, real or fake ride, Victor? Creep Show.
That sounds familiar. I'm gonna say real.
It is.
I would've said fake.
It's like a fun house with zombies.
Huh.
Creep Show.
This is all at the fair I'm going to today.
Yes, it is. All right, so we got 2 chances to get 1 more right, and you can win. All right, here we go. Round 6. Winky the Whale. Real or fake, Victor?
Linky the whale.
Winky the Whale.
Oh, Winky as in W.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say real.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
One of the little kitty rides. Woods was surprised again. That's a win for you, Victor.
Very good.
Congratulations. Hang on the line. Paulie will get your information. We'll put you into the drawing. Last one, Woodsy. Super duper spin-o-rama.
Fake.
Fake.
It's a Ben.
Thank you, guys.
That is
made
a
up.
Ben. Nice work,
Congratulations,
buddy.
Victor. Good work on real or fake.
What does he win?
He is into the drawing for Las Vegas this month.
Who's playing?
Luke Bryan.
Sorry, Victor. Country girl, shake it for me.
Don't Do This is coming up next.
It is.
Zion Williamson had a day.
Ben,
Oh.
I can't even. Oh my God,
My
you guys. We're just reporting the news. Okay, I'm just gonna tell
Might get
you
in a
that
little
now.
trouble.
We're just reporting the news.
Now, he either brought it on himself, or if he didn't bring it on himself, then he's like the unluckiest guy in history. One or the other.
One or the other.
One.
We'll get to Don't Do This coming up next
One.
after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Strap in. You start.
You want me to
I want
start?
you to
I
start.
thought you were going to do this story, or Paul was going to do this story.
No.
Why do I have to do this story?
Well, because
We got Craig Elston coming up in just a few minutes. You can stay connected with Ben and Woods all week by giving us a follow in the Odyssey app for easy access to clips, show reminders, and more. Just download the Odyssey app, follow Ben and Woods, listen to us no matter where you are, or you can watch on our YouTube stream where we have a new viewer who just commented that Paulie doesn't look anything like he thought Paulie would look
I
like.
don't know what that means.
I don't know either.
Maybe you're much more handsome than he thought you are.
Maybe.
But then you just sound ugly. There's really no way that's a compliment.
Man, you sound like you look like Butthole,
Wow.
but you're actually really
I
handsome.
thought Paulie would be a really good looking dude, but now I see him. He's really not. I mean, there's no way that can really be a compliment. When you say, you don't look the way you sound.
I know.
Either way, it's kind of an insult.
I know.
Nice.
Is he
Chat's
gone now?
getting weird. No, he's back. He and the chat are talking about
Drugs.
drugs
What's
and what they
going on
smell like.
here? He says golf sucks. Go Seals. I'm like, now I'm half mad at him. I'm half happy too. Because I like golf and I love the Seals. So
All right, I'm
go
doing
ahead,
this
Ben.
one. All right, we'll start with Zion Williamson, who
My
he and his girlfriend
God.
Akima shared some footage of their gender reveal party. They're having a
Oh,
baby.
Congratulations.
Having
It's a big day.
A baby girl. Go with the pink balloons, baby girl. They put it on social media. A nice, happy day for Zion Williamson and his girlfriend for about 3 or 4 minutes. When someone else responded to that video, her name is Mariah Mills, 32 years old, music artist and OnlyFans model with more than 1 million followers on Twitter. And as Woods and Paul have told me, OnlyFans is adult entertainment,
It's
erotica.
what I've read, heard.
In this story, it also refers to her as a porn star.
Whoa.
She responded, not with, congratulations, big fan of Zion, congratulations, looking forward to it. But no, she said, better pray I'm not pregnant too, because I'm definitely late, Zion Williamson. And then went into some details that I will not share.
Why?
On the
That's why
radio.
I wanted you to do the story.
I don't actually even have them in front of me. I heard Paul mention some of the details. He's more informed on this story than I am of perhaps a relationship
Here,
that was
I'll
also
DM
going
it to
on.
you. You can read it.
Yeah,
Currently.
just
currently
read it.
with her relationship that Zion was having with his girlfriend.
Yeah, I mean, he offered to move her to New Orleans.
Okay.
He said, I don't have a girlfriend, but if I moved you to New Orleans, would you be cool with being like my official? Just asking so I know how to go about the situation with respect. There's another screenshot of a Snapchat DM. It says, Zion, when you move, how much do you expect me to pay you a month? Super excited. She's saying, why are you moving me to New Orleans when you have a
A
girlfriend?
girlfriend with and she's
that you're pregnant.
expecting.
Well, how did the girlfriend Akima respond? Her quote reportedly, happy hoes ain't hating and hating hoes ain't happy. And then the
Save
OnlyFans model responded, you not on my level, ma, believe that. There seems to be some
Read
sort
the
of
other one.
rivalry between the
Check
two.
your DMs. Read the other one.
I've got another. All right, here's the DMs. Paulie shared a tweet. Oh, no.
What?
I can't read that.
Yeah, you can.
No, I can't. I let you spit in my mouth last week. Blech. When we bleeped and who cooked you. I can't read. I can't read that.
You let him what? As I said, we're just reporting the news. These are the facts of the case.
He's a well-known NBA star. Not played that much basketball, actually.
He really
over the last
hasn't.
couple of years. He's
Well,
had
we know what he's
a little
been
too
doing.
much time on his hands.
We know
maybe.
what he's been doing.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That is tough. That's just the toughest of scenes. Well, we're late, so
We just go to do this.
we can just go to do this. I really wanted to stretch that one out as long as we could.
DD mega doo.
All right, I'll go to baseball for do this. Hey, we're always happy when something bad happens to the Dodgers, but so they blew an 8-3 lead, I think, 2 nights ago, and lost 9-8 to the Reds. And then yesterday they blew a 6-2 lead
This is great.
and lost 8-6 to the Reds on a walk-off. But in that game, the Reds brought up earlier this week their top prospect, one of the top prospects in all of baseball, maybe number one, Ellie De La Cruz, had his first home run, and it wasn't a cheapie at all. Great call from the Reds television team.
458
It
feet.
nearly got out of Great American Ballpark. It went to the top row of the stands, and I love this call.
To tennis match, golf tournament silence.
Anticipation to see what.
Oh, goodness! That ball had a family!
Like the last row.
In game 2, his first home run!
Any further, it was completely out of the,
It
out
hit
of
the
stadium.
last row of seats in the stadium.
It's like watching Carl Lewis run around the bases too. I mean, he's faster than lightning. Power. What position is he? Shortstop?
What position does he
I think
play?
he's a shortstop, isn't he?
I mean, he had a triple with the fastest recorded speed from home to third also in that game. Yeah, he's a shortstop.
He
So-
is a stud.
But he didn't even have the most memorable first career home run. That belonged to fellow rookie Will Benson.
Yes.
Who made his first career home run, a walk-off 2-run shot in the bottom of the ninth, as the Reds beat the Dodgers for a second straight day, 8-6.
My man is 6'5".
Power,
speed. Ellie De La Cruz. Holy smokes, man. Yeah, he's pretty special. He was mashing in the minors. So they brought him up, and since he's gotten to the big leagues, Ben, he's hitting 429, OPS of 1842, OBP of 556, and he's got a bomb, 3 hits, and 7 at bats, and he's something special. He's like, I love these young athletic shortstops, and so I tell my son, we're gonna move you off short now at 5. We'll just get you over to second base, maybe third, because you got no prayer. You're not gonna be 6'5" and athletic like this. So we'll get you off shortstop, maybe get you on the bump or something pretty soon.
They talk about tools. He's got tools.
He has got mad skills.
Yeah.
Really fun to watch.
That's an abbreviated edition of Don't and Do this. for
Abbreviated,
Thursday.
but power packed and
That
filled with
was
punch.
Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we got Craig Elston coming up next. He had some spicy takes on Twitter this
did.
week about show favorite Jake Cronenworth. We'll talk to him about the Padres, get his streaming recommendations, crossing streams a little day early. Craig not available tomorrow, so we're going to bump up to Thursday. Coming up next year on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Cars.com. Whether you're looking for the perfect summer road trip car or something you can zip around in, visit Cars.com today. They have over 2 million cars for your 2 million summer possibilities. Head to Cars.com and check out the possibilities. Cars.com, where to next? I will note that after Craig Elston's Jake Cronenworth slander on Twitter,
fact.
Oh, no. I mean, it was perhaps very justified. Jake did go out and get 3 hits yesterday.
It's nice to see, man.
Still well in the red, though, this season, trying to climb out of an early hole. We will talk with Craig Elston about that and more right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Cadillac of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by California Coast Credit Union. Well, fortunately, no incidents or accidents to mention this time. They cleared that crash on westbound King Freeway near the 805, and things are looking much better heading into the downtown area since they reopened the F Street off-ramp. Get a 4.8% APR auto loan at California Coast Credit Union with no payments for 90 days. Offer valid with CalCoast car buying service discount. Interest accrues immediately. Restrictions apply. Federally insured by NCUA. Visit calcoastcu.org. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, let's go out to our premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline, where we are joined by our friend from the Crossing Streams podcast and the San Diego Sockers, Craig Elston, back with us here on 97.3 The Fan. Good morning, Craig.
Morning, Ben. Morning, Woodsy. Appreciate you guys moving me up to a Thursday. I'll be, like you were talking about, Woods, a couple weeks ago with me. I'll be by the rope, waiting for the rope to drop tomorrow at Disneyland.
Man,
so,
make sure you get the app. Get the Disneyland app.
Got the app, got the Genie Plus,
got
the itinerary.
You're
set.
It'll be a full day. We'll be ready.
It feels like a lot with the app and paying for this and that. It is so worth it.
It's so worth it, Craig. Now, listen, I've been off. It'll be a month tomorrow that I've been off Twitter, and I have not crumbled, and I have not caved.
Craig's pretty much been off too, as well.
Yeah, and but the boys were telling me about your tweets, and you're always a good tweeter. And Ben wanted to bring up the Jake Cronenworth tweet and read the tweet. Let's talk about it. Let's parse it out. And see where we are with this. And this is not coming. My missus did not tell me to come and attack you today, and I'm not going to, just so you know.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's fine. I kind of thought maybe, but
no,
that's fine either way.
She didn't even mention it. She will not slander him in any sense of the word, so it doesn't matter. She loves him regardless, which is fine. Go ahead, Paul. Does anybody have the tweet? Anybody?
I don't have it in front of me.
We are super.
None of us have.
I don't even open Twitter. I literally,
Twitter.
every time I open Twitter, it's usually because someone DM'd me about something.
Yeah.
And then I go on there because I'm trying to respond. And I'm like, hey, you should take it out of DMs. Here's my number. And then, while I'm there, if the Padres lost and I'm pissed off,
you drop
I'll
one,
write a tweet.
and then you leave.
All right. Craig had
and then I leave. I straight up leave.
Yeah.
Craig had two tweets the other day that you wanted to discuss. The first one says, Jake Cronenworth has gotten worse every season. He's in the major leagues, and he's older than you think, but also he's signed to a crazy long extension because I have no idea why. Followed that up with also the Padres.
It is a good tweet.
It's a good tweet. He followed that up with also the Padres are catering to veteran players at the detriment of the club's performance on the field. If a player is hurt and can't perform for multiple games, they need to go on the IL. So you have a real bench, if nothing else, and some options.
And we talked about that one yesterday, and I agree. I agree with that. And but I also was like, man, well, who's coming up? Who's coming up? Who's the savior and all that? But back to the crony. I mean, it sucks because we love him and he's been great to our show and friendly with him and pulling for him. He's a good dude and an easy guy to root for. But yeah, it's been a bit of a tough go this season for him, Craig.
Well, and the thing is, when the Padres traded for Jake Cronenworth, he was an aging prospect from the standpoint of still being in AAA, and the Padres got him going into his age 26 into 27 season. So while he was new to us and he was new to baseball, he was actually at the stage of the middle of his career from an age talent curve standpoint when he arrived in the major leagues. And I love Jake Cronenworth too. I think everyone does. He's an incredible teammate. He's a great defender who, when he's at second base, where he's, a plus defender with an okay bat, he's a good player to have on your team. But I think one thing that we always said about Jake Cronenworth when he came over and got off to a great start and then made 2 All-Star games was it's kind of a good situation for the Padres, not so much for Jake, because his heart of his career is pre-arbitration.
Yeah.
And by the time he gets to free agency, he'll be in his early mid-30s, and that's not the kind of player that you commit to or extend. But the Padres did commit to and extend Jake Cronenworth into his late 30s. And the big question is, what is it about his career profile that suggests that the next 7 years are going to be good? And I just want to contrast with number 7, Ha-Sung Kim, who is younger than Cronenworth, has been in the league a pretty similar time, 1 fewer year. But look at the numbers, look at the slash lines, look at all of the StatCast sliders. Kim has gotten incrementally better every year. His defense is arguably best in the league. He's getting on base. He's finding his power. He's finding his hit tool. And you can point to Kim and say, here's a player who's improving and is in the prime of his career. And if I wanted to think about the next 4 or 5 years, there's a pretty good chance this guy is getting better. If you look at Jake Cronenworth, again, I love the guy, and I wish he did great yesterday, and I hope he does great all weekend. But his numbers have declined from 2020 to 2021, 21 to 22, 22 to 23. Just about everything, the StatCast sliders and the slash numbers have gone down. So it's kind of perplexing that we didn't give ourselves the flexibility that was built in to Jake Cronenworth's career to allow ourselves to either move off of him, trade him, etc. You could trade him, but it's a lot tougher now, guys.
I know what you're saying, Craig. His OPS, the rookie season, the short year in 2020, 831. And then 2021, 800 with a 4.8 WAR. I mean, that was an outstanding year for Jake Cronenworth. 2022, it dropped down to 727, still a 4.1 WAR. But this season, the OPS is 678, and it's a 0.5 WAR. Now, he's only 29. I get what you're saying about he's not a young prospect, but he's also not over the hill. This is probably not like age related in terms of he's dropping off a performance cliff because he's so old. But the one thing you're right about is that there was no gun to the Padres' head that Jake was moments away from walking out the door on a free agent deal with someone else. So they just had to get that contract extension done.
We all saw those reports. It was like at 11 p.m. on a Friday night. I woke up on Saturday night and go, what the hell?
Now, it's also
cool,
not,
but what?
It's not the biggest free agent contract in history. It's a fairly reasonable deal. And if Jake ends up as a 754 WAR player at second base, for 3 or 4 years of that contract, it'll look like a pretty reasonable deal. But if he plays first base and puts up a 678 OPS,
that's going to be tough.
That's a horrible contract extension.
And Craig, we talked the last time we talked about, listen, there aren't many power hitting center fielders with speed and gold gloves. That's fine. We've got one. He plays right field. Move him to center where you can find a corner outfielder. I'm fully in the camp of moving Crony back to second. The problem is who plays first. You got to go find a first baseman, which you probably could. But what do you do with Ha-Sung Kim at that point? Because as you just mentioned, he's better than a guy off the bench.
And when we talk, Ben, this is my only pushback to the comment you made. 100% the contract is affordable, especially compared to others. Absolutely, you can project to, if he does this, then that. But the real issue with this extension was the opportunity cost, the old, economics 101 opportunity cost, because by locking in Cronenworth, we have this issue. You've locked in Bogaerts, you've locked in Cronenworth. What do you do with Kim, who's right now, just today, right now, the best of those three players.
Yes.
Not to say that Bogaerts won't be the best of the three, but today, right now, Kim is the best performer of those three players. Where do you play him? I've got Bogaerts locked. I've got Cronenworth locked. Jackson Merrill is on the way.
Right.
This is a team that you could create a path and a runway to get Jackson Merrill to this team in a year or two. Well, if everything's blocked, then it just seems to make sense to trade a kid like that. And that's where you wind up, and I hope this is not the case, but these guys are blocked. Ty France is blocked. Andres Munoz is blocked. Blah, blah, blah. And that's how you wind up trading out all your depth to try and get a piece to improve your team.
Yeah.
So it was unnecessary. And again, I sound like I came on the radio to pick on Jake. I'm just answering the questions you're asking me this morning.
We set you up.
Yeah, we did. We
set you up.
That's fine.
Yeah, but it's a tough spot because it was an unnecessary move that I feel has handcuffed the team now in terms of if they need to pivot. We all hope that this team just wins 10 out of 12 and then wins 10 out of 12 again. And then we're like, well, no, this is a great team and we want to see them be around every day. But the ability to pivot is something important as we go through the 20s, and we're handcuffed in a lot of spots.
Well, the reason you come on is to give us Crossing Streams recommendations. And Paulie says you got 2 for us, including one I'm skeptical about. And for the only reason I'm skeptical is because I'm getting tons of ads for it. And I always feel like that's a bad sign when the marketing budget is too big. But Silo on Apple TV Plus, I have my Twitter feed is inundated with ads for Silo every day.
Well, Apple does have a lot of money. They've sold some watches. They've sold some iPhones. They've got a goggle coming.
Yeah.
So
How much is that goggle, by the way? 3,500.
3,500, I think. Yeah.
Cool. Is this like what Chris Sabo used to wear?
No,
I
wore those. Yeah.
You're actually, it's the Sabo 1.0.
Yes.
I can't wait. All right, let's talk quick because you said I got 2. Let's talk about Silo a little bit. I was a little bit skeptical as well, Ben, but I have watched 6 of the 7 available episodes. A new one just dropped this morning that I was unable to watch yet. But it's a legitimately good, enthralling, dramatic mystery that I very much enjoy. And here's what I want to say, especially to my friends inside the radio studio. The way to think about Silo is not to think of it as a science fiction show or a dystopian show, because those things we're all a little bit fatigued on. I know Woods just glazes over. Silo could have been a small town Western genre-wise and accomplished the exact same thing. It's a murder mystery and it's a noir type drama that, yes, has a science fiction setting. The setting is a silo, an underground 145 level place where people are living, that they never go above ground. Why? Because outside the air is poisoned, and when you go out there, you die. Or at least that's what everyone has been taught to believe. It's been 140 years in there. There's really no technology. In fact, technology is held down. Why is that? We're figuring that out. The first 2 episodes of the show are very dramatic and lead you in to the main plot, which is Rebecca Ferguson, the Swedish actress who you probably know from Mission Impossible, as the new sheriff of the silo, trying to investigate a couple of murders and working her way through kind of the bureaucracy in there, a little bit of a fish out of water. So again, it's set in a science fiction setting that has almost, I don't want to say it has nothing to do with it, but it's adjacent to the primary drama of the show. It's well acted. It's actually really, really well done. I like I said, I was a skeptic. I'm now 6 episodes in and I'm recommending Silo. I think it's worth diving into, and it's definitely got me enthralled.
And then in less than 60 seconds, you also wanted to talk about Reality on Max.
Reality is an hour and 20-minute movie. Okay. I believe it's 82 minutes in total, based off of a stage play. And this is about Reality Winner, the Air Force veteran who in 2017 leaked documents that proved Russia's involvement in meddling with the U.S. election. She was sent to jail for 4 years. The FBI came to her house in 2017, guys, and interrogated her. That interrogation was recorded and turned into a stage play, and then taken from a play to a movie. Sydney Sweeney plays Reality Winner. Literally every word in the movie is taken directly, verbatim, from the interrogation between the FBI and reality winner. It's brilliant. Sydney Sweeney's performance is brilliant. It's extremely well done. And like I said, it's less than an hour and a half. Knock it out. Reality, great ad, streaming movie on Max.
Interesting, Craig. Appreciate it. Sorry that we set you up to make it look like you hate Jake Cronenworth. I know you don't do that, but have fun at Disneyland tomorrow, and good talking to you.
Always a pleasure, boys. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week. Go Padres.
Enjoy, go Padres.
Craig Elston on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. All right, we'll come back.
Sydney Sweeney's in it.
We've
So
got
that means
Eno
I'm in.
Saris in our next hour and much more. More Padres talk on the way on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we are halfway home on a Thursday. Kind of a quick week. It's kind of flown by for some reason. I don't know why it has, but it has. Feeling great on a Thursday. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl to my right. He's our executive producer. And to my left is your friendly neighborhood sports anchor and also our Secretary of Homeland Exploration, Benjamin Higgins. We were just talking about some exploration that you will be doing in the near future.
Got a family trip next week, early in the week. First time in my life, even as a native Southern Californian, going over to Catalina.
Another very white vacation.
Yes, apparently. I have never been there. I'll find out when I get there, I guess.
Vacation.
You know the
Catalina wine mixer.
You know the Chicago Cubs used to hold spring training.
No, they did
on Catalina Island. Yes.
What?
Yeah, Wrigley.
What?
Mr. Wrigley? That's his island, basically, his mansion and his island, and they had a ballpark, and that's where the Cubs would hold their spring training long ago.
That's badass.
Yeah,
maybe.
Did they have a
maybe not?
Did they have a Billy Joel cover band?
Maybe not. Is it fun over there to do spring, or do you get like?
I mean, you're isolated.
You're isolated.
You know, you can keep an eye on the guys. That's for sure. They can't go anywhere.
Hey, come do spring training on Alcatraz. It's a nice version of Alcatraz.
We got rooms for all the guys.
Yeah, you can't leave, and you're just here on our very fancy version of Alcatraz. Pretty much. Can you imagine? I'd be like, oh no, I saw the Cubs. I got traded to the Cubs. I got spring training on the island. You have to go over to the island.
I didn't think about it, but you're right. It pretty much is Alcatraz.
Yeah.
Well, you are, I mean, nice, but Alcatraz.
Because not to
can't go anywhere.
Right. But not to like, I'm not going to throw
like one ferry a day.
Yeah.
So you're stuck. You're
stuck.
there and then you're
like,
stuck.
did I see you coming in on that? Like, you can't leave. You're there. Unless you buy like a little skiff and you can go out on the skiff, or you do what the guys in Escape from Alcatraz did. You get some dummies, you get some hair,
right?
Place the hair on there, put them in your dorm bed, sneak out on a boat made out of raincoats.
All right.
Just to go out, have some cocktails somewhere else.
What's your preferred choice of prison escape? Shawshank or Escape from Alcatraz?
Ooh. I love
freezing cold water.
I mean, I like the patience.
Raft.
I like the patience of Andy Dufresne of digging that tunnel for years and years and years. That was very cool, but I don't like having to crawl through 500 yards of the foulest smelling S on earth to freedom. That part would have really a nice little boat ride sounds more pleasant.
Wait for a thunderstorm to bash through the wall.
But here's the thing, too. The guys that escaped allegedly from Alcatraz, they were going home to nothing, right? Yeah. So there it was a wing and a prayer. If we die, we die. Andy had hundreds of thousands of dollars in an account under Jim Stevens waiting for him.
Randall Stevens. He's the guy. He's the guy with the money.
Now, he also is going to make sure that Reverend Norton is going to get his
Warden.
Reverend, what the hell's my problem?
You okay over there?
Warden Norton is going to get his comeuppance.
You're being very obtuse.
What did you call me? Obtuse.
It's like deliberate.
No, listen. So it makes the 500 yards a little easier to stomach, in my opinion.
Knowing what you got on the other end.
The payoff.
I mean, let's be honest. Prison probably didn't smell that great to begin with.
Yeah.
So.
If you could suck it up for 500 yards.
Oh, God.
Can we film you? We like to film bits. Can we film you crawling 500 yards just to see what it was like without the foulest
joy in my life,
without the foulest smelling S?
I feel like there's got to be a Woodsy's Wednesday rabbit hole on prison escapes.
I mean, I've done Alcatraz before.
Yeah,
I am riveted by it. I loved it. The baseball field, they did have a baseball field at Alcatraz. It's really, really cool. If you've never gone up there, highly recommend doing that. Hannah and I had the greatest time ever up touring Alcatraz. It was incredible. I would go back. If I lived in San Francisco, I'd probably go once a month. That's how cool it is over there.
Had El Chapo, who escaped through
tunnels,
a tunnel that had like an oxygen tanks and ventilation and a motorcycle under Mexico's most secure prison.
Incredible. I don't have the stomach for prison, nor do I have the stomach to escape from prison. But so you will be going to Catalina next week, potentially going to take the equipment with you to maybe do the show on Tuesday and Wednesday, but potentially not. Right?
Right. Well, I mean, I have no idea what I'm facing when I get there. Is there a place where I could plug in and
I think they have
the show?
Internet there.
I think they do. Could be. But is it just a cell tower, or do they actually have like plug in real Wi-Fi internet? I mean, because that usually requires a line. I guess you could under the sea, you stretch it all the way across to the coast. I don't even know. I couldn't read about it anywhere in the broshure.
Could
about
you
the internet
drag a
services.
wire?
Yeah, just
on the ferry, trail it, and
long cord.
Long cord. He's very committed. So we may be without Ben for 3 days next week, Paulie. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Thought of it already gives me a panic attack, but it's fine. I hope you enjoy your trip.
You ever see the play Damn Yankees?
No. I saw the band Damn Yankees with Ted Nugent in it.
Basically,
he shot a flaming crossbow into a target in the middle of the concert.
Basically,
That
fan
happened.
of the Washington Senators, has a deal with it's the devil, whatever, So he makes a deal to get his team to finally win and beat the Yankees, sort of thing. And I threw it out on Twitter yesterday. It feels like Gary Sanchez has made some sort of deal with the dark powers of the universe.
Pretty
because
nuts.
Gary Sanchez arrived 9 games ago to the San Diego Padres. Since then, he has hit over 300. He's hit 4 home runs. He's revived a career that had completely stagnated. Hitting 200 basically the last few seasons, was cut by the Giants and the Mets this year already, and was picked up on an absolute last chance desperation gamble by AJ Preller, just because the Padres catching situation was so grim that they just felt like, what's the harm in trying Gary Sanchez? They would have been happy with a third of what Gary Sanchez is doing so far, based on what they had been getting before. He's been fantastic. He's been hitting the ball hard. He's, sparked the offense in several of these wins. He's homered in 3 of the Padres' 5 wins and 1 of the losses over these last 9 games. But the last 9 games are also the times that the Padres have alternated. The big win, the 1 run. The big win, the 1 run every game since Gary Sanchez has joined the team. And it felt like he has made some sort of deal with the devil. Like, you can revive your career in San Diego, but until you retire, your team will only score 1 run every other game.
Day.
And that is the price that you will pay for a resurgence and being able to hit again in Major League Baseball.
I will be 100% transparent. I don't think I tweeted anything about it, but I don't think the catching situation had gotten so bad. I remember texting you guys, I believe it was on a Friday, and I said, Kevin Plawecki just opted out of his deal with the Nationals or something. And Ben said, yeah, they already grabbed him. And I said, oh, okay, well, I'm off Twitter, so I didn't know. They had already grabbed him at the time. Kevin Plawecki, I believe, is down in AAA in El Paso right now. And I thought, all right, I mean, Ben, Paul, me, people in the audience would be a tick lower than the production that they've gotten from the catching position to that point. And you guys asked me, as a reformed Yankee fan, what do you think about Gary Sanchez? I said, he fell off a cliff.
We asked you this after he opted out of his deal with the Giants.
Do you grab him? And I said, I don't think so. I don't think you do. And it was nothing other than just watching that guy fall off a cliff, being so excited about potentially like the next Johnny Bench. Like, he was hit for power, cannon for an arm, a little lackadaisical, it seemed at times, defensively. There were a couple of pitchers that didn't like throwing to him, but that's going to happen, I guess. Man, there's something to be said, too, for that long, hard look in the mirror and saying, okay, this could be my last chance. I've got to get it together.
But even if it was just the offense the Padres were getting,
no doubt,
that would be great. But he's been more than solid behind the plate.
I mean,
he piped. Is he Ivan Rodriguez? No, but he's thrown out a couple of base runners. Austin Nola hadn't done that in
correct,
months. He has caught a variety of different pitchers effectively.
Yes.
I think he's been behind the plate for like 3 shutouts already.
Yu Darvish pitched really well with him. Blake Snell said he was awesome back there. And again,
Michael Wacha yesterday had 6 shutout innings
yeah,
with Gary Sanchez behind the plate as well. Bob Melvin, who knows a thing or two about being a major league catcher, talked about it after the game yesterday that, he sees good things right now from Gary Sanchez. Even defensively, he has been impressed by what Gary Sanchez has had to offer this team.
And I'm telling you, even his outs have been loud. He has. There's one swing I can remember that I went, oh, that looks like. But I mean, freaking, we see that from all stars. We see Manny take terrible swings sometimes. We see Juan Soto takes horrendous swings sometimes. Fernando, all the time. I mean, we see it. That he looks like a hitter, and he looks like he's about to do serious damage.
Was it Monday night when we were at the game? Like even the foul balls would have gone over the Western Metal Supply building. Like, every ball he is hitting, it feels like it's just torched.
Yeah.
And why is this happening? As Wood said, maybe he feels comfortable knowing he's going to get an opportunity here. He's not playing for his job every single day right now.
Yeah.
He's pretty much the starting catcher at this point. Bob Melvin said, New York can be a really hard place to struggle. You just have a couple of bad days, and the fans are on you, and you may spiral very quickly.
You come into a situation like we've had here in San Diego for not just this year, but for a while, really, at the catcher position. You're like, I'd have to be downright horrible
for them to wear me out,
to be the second or third option on this team.
I mean, Joey Gallo almost retired after what the Yankee fans did to him, and that's in my opinion, that's not right. You're not going to get the best out of a guy, clearly. Listen, some guys like that kind of, oh, okay, we'll see how this works. I think you're seeing it with Trey Turner in Philly right now, scuffling, and they're wearing that guy out on a daily basis. And they got that guy for a long time. I'm going to ride, it's like Craig said about Odor. I'm going to ride this hot streak for as long as I can. And I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy for us. I'm so happy for everyone. I love watching him play. He's a blast. He's a blast to watch behind the dish. He's got a cannon for an arm. He does. And he's really knocking the cover off the ball. So let's ride this wave as long as it will take us.
If he didn't show up when he did, I mean, think about that. I mean, the Padres, if they had lost a couple of the games they had won this past week, I mean, this season might be on the verge of over. If they were 8 or 10 games under 500 now, as opposed to 4, these wins that they have gotten with Gary Sanchez are critical just to keep, kind of treading water and where they are and not falling too far behind, just staying like 3 or 4 games out in the wild card race. They're getting 7 or 8 games out and have a mountain to climb. You already talked yesterday about what the record they would need to have the rest of the way just to finish above 500, just to get to 90 wins. If you had added 3 more losses to that, it would look like an impossible hill to climb.
Now he's a good dude. Seemingly has fit in perfectly here, and you just never know when it's going to click with somebody or re-click with somebody. But to see the potential being realized again and the long home runs, I mean, just no doubters. There's no doubt. This doesn't feel like luck at all. This feels like a guy that's rediscovered a little bit of something in his swing, and a lot of credit to him. A lot of credit for the guys for giving him a shot and running him out there every day. And I love that when he's not catching, he's DHing, because I don't want to pitch to that guy. Like, he looks like he's about to take your head off when he's up there. We have not seen that. We didn't see it from Nola. We haven't seen it from Brett Sullivan. Gary Sanchez is your guy right now, man. Ride this thing out as long as you can.
All right, we got Eno Saris joining us for his weekly Smart Baseball segment at the bottom of the hour. Also, some more injury updates on the San Diego Padres. We'll have that coming up. We'll be right back with more Ben and Woods after a check of traffic. Don't go away. You're listening to San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So once again, Xander Bogaerts didn't play yesterday, which turned out to be a pretty good decision. They didn't need him. So he got not only one extra day of rest for that wrist, but 2 more days of rest because today's an off day for the San Diego Padres. Welcome back, Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. However, they are once again, Craig mentioned it yesterday, they're once again playing this game. How long can we go and not put a guy on the IL and hope that he's going to come back and at least give us 4 or 5 games on the back end? If it ends up being another day or two, then you pretty much should have put him on the IL.
After 5 games, right? That would be where you're losing out.
Yeah, he at the halfway point, essentially, of what would have already been an IL stint. If he had gone on the IL, he'd be halfway done with it already.
You basically been playing a man down for 4 games now, 5 games.
Yep, and 2 when Trent Grisham was going through the back spasms. He was back yesterday, but Xander Bogaerts was still down. Bob Melvin expressed some optimism that Xander could be ready on Friday, but he says, again, it does matter. How does he respond? How does he feel today? How does he feel Friday morning before they make that decision? So no promises that Xander's back in the lineup. They need Xander to be Xander, though, at some point. That's one of the issues they've had over the past month plus, that he simply has not been productive, mostly, I think, because of that wrist issue. I mean, some normal cooling down after a very hot start, but clearly the wrist was bothering him, especially these last 2 or 3 weeks, to the level that it was impacting his play on the day, at least at the plate every single day.
Is it left or right? Do we know?
I think it's the left wrist.
Is it the left wrist?
Yeah.
Bottom hand. Yeah. Jeez. Yeah. It's what do you guys think of Rivas? Is that something you want to continue to explore while Xander, because people are saying, well, we could call up Jose Iglesias who can play short, and that's fine, but I'd rather have Ha-Seong Kim at short, to be honest with you, than almost anyone. If you didn't sign Xander this offseason and Ha-Seong Kim was your shortstop, I would be okay with that. Wouldn't you as well?
Yeah. I mean, defensively, you're not losing anything.
No.
Xander's been very good, especially the numbers like outs above average has shown he's been excellent. But eye test tells me Ha-Seong Kim is still the best fielder the Padres have right now. So yeah, I have no problem putting him at shortstop if they had to do that.
So yeah, if you do end up putting him on the, which again, they said he can't get a cortisone shot until the All-Star break ish. So we're still talking another month and a half. If he comes back and he aggravates it again within a couple of days, which he probably will, that's not a crazy assumption. It's been an issue for a while.
He says it's only when he gets hit by a pitch is what aggravates it.
Okay.
And
well,
he did.
That was a while ago.
Right.
And so, here he is. It's a nagging 3-week injury and hopefully the rest helps and he comes out and mashes in Colorado if he's back. But if not, and you do have to IL, and it's one of those guys well, let's get this thing healthy. Let's get this thing as healthy as we can until we can get you that cortisone shot at the All-Star break. And hopefully we have you locked and loaded for the second half. But yeah, man, it's tough. The depth of this team is certainly tested. But when guys like Juan Soto get 5 knocks and Gary Sanchez is hitting bombs, and no problem, you can withstand that. But I trust that we can win more games with Xander Bogaerts in our lineup than without.
Bullpen depth seems to be coming back. Luis Garcia faced live hitters yesterday, and it doesn't even sound like he's going to need a rehab stint. So wouldn't be shocked if he was activated this weekend and returned to the Padres bullpen. Saw him there in the dugout next to Robert Suarez, who is scheduled to pitch off a mound tomorrow, I believe, for the first time. Now, he's not, I don't think that, he's probably still weeks, month away from coming back. You pitch off the mound 2 or 3 times, then you probably go down for a minor league rehab. He never really had a total spring training at all. He was there and pitched a little bit, but didn't get to build himself up. Not that he needs to be going 5 or 6 innings as a reliever, but he'll need at least, I would think, 3 or 4 outings down in the minor leagues before they're comfortable calling him up. But you could envision a scenario where sometime probably in July that Robert Suarez is back in the Padres bullpen, which would be really good.
Would be awesome.
They have to make a decision on Nabil Crismatt, apparently. He's gone through his minor league rehab. Apparently he's ready to go, but he doesn't have any options. And the Padres don't necessarily have ready-made spots for him. I mean, you could send down Drew Carlton.
You're not sitting down Cosgrove.
Cosgrove seems to have locked in a place as part of that Padres bullpen.
Maybe my favorite Padre.
Tapia could go down, but do you still think there's a place on this team for Nabil Crismatt?
I think this weekend would be a fantastic spot for Nabil Crismatt, where you may be playing catch up or you may be needing an innings eater. I think now it's not the most ideal place for Nabil, but it's you come off the IL and they throw you right into the fire in Colorado, and it's not like he's a hard thrower, but he changes speeds and he can give you some length, Ben. So this could be a good spot for him. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I mean, it's not a fun place to pitch, but one thing, we're all panicked about playing in Colorado. And I think we've seen this offense explode enough to know also we have to remember we also get to hit there too. And their pitchers also have to get our guys out. And we hit a lot. We hit a lot in Mexico. We can do the same. We can outslug this team in Colorado. This weekend.
I mean, I'm not too worried about our pitchers. Maybe Saturday when Ryan Weathers is on the hill, but Yu Darvish tomorrow is going to go.
I liked your idea of the opener with Weathers. I liked that. Maybe we'll ask Bob. You tell him, hey, I've got an idea for you. I'm sure he loves that.
Well, I'm going to give him my idea about see if you can have all the guys pretend they always have a 2-run lead, because it feels like the offense just does better when you guys have a small cushion and you're not pressing to come from behind. Whatever, like have the mental coach go, hey,
the mentality.
Hey, you're going up. We're up 2. Let's see if we can add on this inning, no matter what the score is.
He's going to love that suggestion.
You think so?
I think so.
Is this what we've been waiting for?
Did you ever see the
when they win the World Series, they'll go back. We did an interview. I did a Friar Friday interview with that Ben Woods.
It was Ben Higgins.
That Ben Higgins just threw a great idea out that we implemented, and it turned out to turn our season around. And we just got so much more consistent offensively after that.
You would be impossible to live with if that.
I'm not already.
You're okay, but that would be the way.
It'd be over.
It'd be over.
Again, I know it sounds kind of dumb, but again, we're at the point where we're looking for dumb solutions because the smart ones that make sense haven't worked. They've tried all the ones that they think make sense and hasn't changed a thing about the inconsistency of the offense.
Like I don't drink much anymore, but a weekend series in Colorado is I'm likely to pour more than one cocktail this weekend just to kind of get through it.
Then again,
it
with
can be
pitch clock now, I don't think they're 4-hour games anymore.
That's
which
true.
Is nice.
But if it's 12-10, it could still be a long one with multiple pitching changes. And but yeah, I'm liable to pour myself a old fashioned this weekend.
Smart Baseball coming up with our friend Eno Saris. I always enjoy that segment every week. It is next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Saris never wastes our time.
Never.
Always well spent.
Well, he went jogging that one time.
That's true.
And
He's out of breath when he joined us. Didn't realize
I
he was
winter
on the
meetings.
air.
I was in person.
The winter
He did-
meetings,
oh
he
my-
sprinted
The
up
first
to
5
us.
minutes of the interview, he
Thought
was
we
just
were on
kind of
break.
shooting
He
the
thought we
breeze
were
and-
off the air. That was
so funny.
amazing. I forgot about that.
And
He's
finally,
like, "Are we on the air?" Like,
we asked
"Yes,
him like
we're
another
live."
baseball question, and he goes, "Oh wait, are we on the air?"
Yeah, we have been.
Yeah, since he sat down.
I'm so glad he didn't just start ripping some GM or
You've
something.
been on the air the whole time.
He's like, "Oh, okay."
Oh,
That
before
was
we get
incredible.
to Eno, this hour on 97.3 The Fan is
It was
brought to you.
It was something like he had to catch a flight. He was stopping by the hotel on his way to the airport. He wanted to do the hit with us, but he left his phone or his laptop, something at the hotel room. So he had to sprint back to his hotel, grab it, sprint back to the Manchester Grand Hyatt, and he was just completely
Drenched.
gassed.
And
It
we
was
were
amazing.
already in our last segment, so we couldn't break or anything to bring
No,
him
we
on.
had like
It
4
was-
minutes.
It was great. Oh, that was great. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Gomez Trial Attorney. Seriously injured, get a real trial attorney. Get Gomez. If you've been injured in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, Gomez Trial Attorneys ready to fight for you all the way to trial. Get a real trial lawyer. Get Gomez. Call 833-GET-GOMEZ. Eno, right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Cadillac of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danek.
Traffic is sponsored by Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Got a collision on the eastbound 8 right before the 125. Looks like everything in the clearing stage over to the left shoulder. Coach Quintero and Joe Musgrove's choice. They're a different kind of dealership looking to be a solid community partner and deliver excellent service. Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Chevrolet, find new roads. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I love that winner's meeting segment so much. We should have Eno just do a couple of wind sprints before every appearance.
Every appearance
on
yeah.
Thursdays here with Ben and Woods. Good morning, Eno.
Yeah, I'm not out of breath today.
Good. How's everything going, man?
that winter meeting is special. I got sick, and so part of the being drenched in sweat was that I was also like kind of feverish.
Sitting there talking to us with norovirus and didn't know we were on the air. It was special. Boy, the expectations were high back then. The expectations have been tempered a little bit here in San Diego, as we talk to you about every week. And we're going to talk about Melvin tomorrow. And I'm going to ask him how hard that is to shift gears, after 60 some odd games and all right, well, I mean, we could still win the division. Other teams need to fall off a cliff. You kind of take it out of your hands a little bit. But we are seeing something here, that I need a numbers guy like you to explain to me. It is truly bananas, the feast or famine offense for the San Diego Padres. I have never seen anything like this in all the years I've been watching baseball.
Yeah, and I think what's really weird about it is that they aren't a team that strikes out a ton. I mean, they are 10th in the league, but they aren't like first or second. Where if you strike out a ton, a lot of times that means that you're kind of streaky. Because when the hits aren't falling, you're just striking out, and that's a bad game. But that's not necessarily their problem. I just wonder, I just wrote a piece today about how, where all the strikeouts are coming from in the game. And one of the aspects of it is a new thing that we can now measure called vertical bat angle. And that tells us a little bit about the steepness of the bat through the zone. And, it's something that's really good for power to have a high vertical bat angle, something that Soto doesn't have so much. He has a flat bat angle, right? And so I wonder if there's something to this idea that the Padres have like a certain type of swing And, when they go up against, a certain type of pitcher, it's great. But when they go up against another kind, it's not so great. I have this thing here from Swing Graphs that says that San Diego has the lowest VBA in the league. So this would suggest they have the flattest swings in the league. And that's great for high pitches. But then if you're trying to lift a low pitch with a flat swing, that doesn't work. So perhaps their swings are too uniform. And so when they run into a pitcher that can really pitch really well at the bottom of the zone, they have trouble.
All right.
It's a working theory, but it has something to do with, my theory of constructing a lineup is get guys with very different swings, get a bunch of different swings together, get some high ball guys, some low ball guys, some ground ball, fly ball, get a bunch of different swings so that no one can ever shut you out.
That is actually one of the better theories I've heard, because it does explain why the Padres sometimes look like they're bad against fastball guys, but then against George Kirby yesterday, no problem at all against him. And it was hard to come up with something that could account for everything that would explain the Padres' inconsistency, but maybe Eno has hit upon something. Let's switch to pitching a little bit. And I know the numbers are unemotional. Fans are emotional, but numbers are not. You had your starting pitching rankings for the rest of the season. So if I were just a fan, I'd say, why do you hate Michael Wacha so much? So instead, I will ask, why do the numbers hate Michael Wacha so much? Had another 6 shutout innings yesterday, but he's like down near around 100 in your starting pitching rankings, well behind, the Padres' other starting pitchers. He's just been fantastic, though, this season.
Yeah, I mean, kind of a simple answer is just look at the back of the baseball card. There have been some good years, but they've also, 2020 hit a 6.62 ERA. In 2021 with Tampa, he's 124 innings of a 5 ERA. He kind of alternates good and bad seasons. And I think if you look at the contract they signed him to, they were well aware of that. Remember how complicated the contract is? It's like, 4 straight 1-year options or whatever. So, I think when he's going well, and he is going well, he finds a way to leverage his elite pitch. The thing that makes him different from a lot of it, this is a breaking ball league, and his elite pitch is the changeup. And so, changeups don't create strikeouts the same way as other pitches. There's a lot of weak contact with changeups. A lot of times, if you throw a changeup in a count where you're expecting a whiff, hitters know that, and they'll slow their swing down or whatever, so it doesn't create as many whiffs as you'd expect. So, there aren't that many people in the league today that are changeup first and working off of that. His cutter's pretty good. His sinker's pretty good. He's got a collection of pitches. They're working right now, and he's found a way to be like, you don't know when this changeup is coming. He's not coming in 2 strikes all the time. Sometimes he'll get the cutter or the sinker, and he's just really mixing it up well. But the projections look at all of those other years, and they say, he's most likely going to put up a 4 or 5 ERA going forward.
Talking to our pal Eno Sarris here from The Athletic on Ben and Woods, and referencing your piece again, and that's, Ben kind of switched gears to pitching, and this is pitching related as well as it's also hitting related. Strikeouts are up. The new rules promised. I don't know why they would promise more action. You can't shift, but you still got to put the bat on the ball, right? And guys are still going up there looking to barrel the baseball. I mean, that's the goal every time. All I hear about the Padres hitters, this is a quote from, I'd say 79% of Padre fans, is these guys need to learn how to flatten their swing out and stop swinging for the fences. Well, in fact, you just gave us the data that says they have the flattest swings in baseball. No one tries less. No one tries less in baseball to hit home runs by lifting the ball out than the San Diego Padres. So kind of a shocking revelation. Where are all these strikeouts coming from? Is it because the pitchers are so good and velo is up? And what are you guys seeing?
Yeah, it's a complicated piece that goes through all the best data that we have, but tries to break it down in a really simple way. It's something I've been working on for a couple of years. It's a theme I've been working on for 5, 6, 7 years. But one of the simplest ways of explaining is power lives out in front of the zone. If you just look at data, if you look at where contact point is on power, on barrels, on homers, it's in front of the plate. And I think the modern sort of way of thinking is I'm going to be flat through the zone. And if I catch it in the zone, if I time the fastball correctly, I'll hit a line drive because I have a flat swing through the zone. But I'm going to finish in a way that if I catch the ball out in front of the zone, it's going to be a little bit more uppercut, but it's not an uppercut swing. It's just, how a swing works, right? You finish up.
Yeah, you finish high.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, you finish high. So, if you catch it in the zone, it's flat and it's a line drive. And if you catch it out in front of the zone, it's up a little bit, and that's where the homers and barrels are. Well, what happens if you tell the hitter power lives out in front of the zone? That means they have to start earlier, right? They want to catch out in front. They got to start earlier. And if they start earlier and velo goes up every year, we just broke the velo record again. We break the velo record every year, every year. This is the first year in the history of baseball that the average fastball is over 94 miles an hour. And as that velo goes up and the hitters think, I got to get that ball out in front, that's the strikeouts. It's a combination of the hitters and the pitchers. But if you want to blame it on one thing, it's the velo that's been going up every year.
Talking to Eno Sarris from The Athletic, since you're so good at unraveling mysteries for us, what are your thoughts on Gary Sanchez? I mean, none of us believe that he's going to continue to keep up the pace of 4 home runs in 9 games, I think over 300. We've seen what he was the last few seasons. This was a desperation move by the Padres, and like magic, he's been just what they needed offensively behind the plate, and he's actually been okay defensively as well. But over the last kind of few years, from exciting prospect, future star for the Yankees, to falling off the map offensively and getting cut twice this season, what have you kind of seen from Gary Sanchez over the years?
He's the things that he are worst at. They are very visible and people remember them. And I think that it's unfair to him.
Yes.
So he's not good at blocking the ball, right? In terms of in terms of blocking pitches, there'll be some wild pitches, right? And when you see a wild pitch or a pass ball or whatever, you really kind of remember it. And sometimes it can be a big deal because the guy on second gets to third, or the guy on third goes home, and then you're like, oh, we lost the game, and Gary Sanchez, and I'm even guilty of it. That play the other day, it was in either extra innings, the bottom of the 9th, where the ball was coming in from Soto, and it got cut off.
Yeah, and he was nowhere to be seen around home plate. Yeah.
Nowhere to be seen.
He was in the wrong play.
Yep.
I'm even guilty of the same thing, where I'm like, what is he doing there?
Yeah.
Well, what he was doing there was getting the ball because he didn't think it would be cut off.
Yeah.
And so then he just got caught in between. And either the pitcher should have moved up when he moved up, to back him up and be on the plate, or whatever. I mean, I think they still had a chance if he'd stayed on the plate, but whatever. It's one of those things where, again, it wasn't like it wasn't terrible. He had an obvious thing he was trying to do. He was trying to get the ball. The ball was up the line a little bit, right? He thought it was going to go. The shortstop was going to let it through, right? So, but again, we look at him, we're like, what are you doing? But those blocking does not actually matter as much as people think it does. It doesn't turn into runs as much as we think it is. We see it once and we think, oh, this must happen all the time, and so he's terrible that way. But in terms of the numbers, it's not that big a deal. Blocking is the least important skill that a catcher has, actually. In terms of framing, he's actually a decent framer. And so I've been one I've put him on like 8 teams this year, where I'm like, I don't know why Gary Sanchez isn't on a team. So he is definitely a guy that I would hire, because the things that he's bad at are just very visible. and they're not necessarily that bad for the bottom line. So he's a great pickup.
I call it the Gary Sanchez experience, and that's really
Yeah.
it's a fun house, and sometimes you get scared in a fun house a little bit, but I mean when your alternative is I like the guy a lot, I do, and I'm not. But when your alternative is Austin Nola,
is he a not fun house?
He's in the not fun house. That's not a fun ride. That's not a fun ride at all.
The other thing is, in the context that we were just talking about, Gary Sanchez has an uppercut swing. I mean,
yes,
this dude has a golf swing. He pulls everything. He pulls everything in the air, and he's he's going to miss a lot. But if you think about the guys that have been doing well in the course of that have been doing well when the rest of the team hasn't, Odor and Sanchez, like these guys strike out a lot. They're very streaky. They're going to go in the tank, but they're very different from the rest of the lineup. They're very sort of uppercutty, swing for the fences, all or nothing types. And, maybe this team just needed two different guys, I
like that. I like that theory.
We've got some more flatter swings. We've got some guys who, grind together. The Padres lead the league in walk rate.
Yeah.
So like they're not having terrible at bats, but just take these two wild cards, there's two fun experiences, two guys who've been, kind of
cast aside.
Yeah. Sort of, left out there for anybody to have, but to throw that kind of wildness into the lineup, I don't know. It could be the kind of thing that saves them on the days when somebody with a low fastball is mowing through the lineup, and then I can't just throw a low fastball to Gary Sanchez or Odor.
Eno's insight today was next
brilliant
level. Padres fans listening are smarter today because of Eno Sarris. Eno, appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks. And they're still in the wild card race. I mean, that is weird about the reset, right? Like we had these there was like these lofty ambitions for and the projections were great and the team was. But the wild card gives everyone a sort of fresh chance to kind of run through the playoffs in a different way.
Love it, man.
Eno Sarris on our Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall Chevrolet. Find new roads, and of course, brought to you by 7 Mile Casino. Each Thursday, you get smarter as a baseball fan because of Eno. Season all of a sudden kind of makes sense to me just because of that. We'll get to more next on the Fan. Pretty amazing that whether he's right or not, that Eno Sarris actually made some sense out of the Padres' inconsistency that seemingly makes no sense. How does a team score one day 10 runs and then 1 the next and then 9 and 1 and 6 and 1?
Pitcher dependent.
But it's not like they face an ace one day and who shuts them down,
right?
And then a terrible pitcher the next day and they score. That happens in baseball. That's luck of the draw, and tough pitchers are tough pitchers. Padres faced a tough pitcher yesterday, ate him alive. They faced a terrible pitcher last Friday, and Jamison Taillon couldn't hit him at all. What is possibly explaining this? And Eno's theory, which actually made a lot of sense as he explained it, is the Padres have a lot of guys with similar swings, similar bat paths through the zone, which means they're vulnerable to certain guys. And it's not always the aces. It's just certain pitchers, and they're
Which
all
would
kind of
explain
vulnerable
sometimes
to it.
why we have a guy that's 2-6 with an 80 ERA, and he looks like Nolan Ryan against us sometimes.
But why do Gary Sanchez and Rougned Odor occasionally have these good games? Well, they have success against different types of guys. So you've seen them have good games when other guys are struggling. Kind of fits all the facts. It's a theory that at least fits the facts, and it's probably a small sample size, and I'm sure it doesn't cover everything at all, but very interesting stuff there from Eno Sarris.
We saw that bat path graph about a month ago, 3 weeks ago. Didn't know really what to make of it other than the Padres were dead last in it. And he referenced that in his article today in The Athletic. You guys can check that out. You certainly should. But we knew that. We saw that graph out there. What really stuck in my head, Ben, and I'm like, my wheels are spinning now. When you're constructing a lineup, the best lineup that you can construct is 9 different swings. How do you game plan against that? Right? It's like game planning against a basketball player that can beat you down low, that can shoot threes. How do you fight it?
There are some freaks of pitchers who can get you out 3 or 4 different ways, but most pitchers have one out pitch.
Like Darvish can get anybody out with any kind. He's got a bunch of different.
Most guys are at best average on 2 or 3 pitches, and they got one really good. They got a really good slider, or they got a really good cutter, or a really good changeup, and that's their out pitch.
It's fascinating.
And if you face a lineup that out pitch is, falls right into their swing paths, so that pitcher is going to have a tough day.
Think about the Dodgers and how their lineup is constructed. Think about the Astros and how their lineup is constructed. Altuve is 5'3", massive uppercut swing. Alex Bregman, more flat through the zone. Kyle Tucker, big loopy swing. It's hard. You're not going to go up and say, I can literally locate 97 on the black, in, out, up, down, or in the Padres case, down. I can locate 97 on the black down, and I'm going to win this game.
Now, Adam just came in and said, now, do you think the Padres know this, right? I mean, this is not proprietary information. This is just talking about it openly on the radio. The Padres have multiple employees and analysts that must know they have similar swing paths. But I don't think that's on the coaches. You can't just tell, hey, Juan Soto, a lot of guys have your swing path. We're going to need you to change your swing just to mix it up with everybody else. That's more on the construction of the team. That's an AJ Preller issue on player acquisition, right? If you're trying to create a diversity of different kinds of swing and swing paths, you have to do that in the offseason.
Oh, yeah.
You have to do that in the GM's office with trades and acquisitions. You can't do that in the hitting cages and all of a sudden, oh, Jake, we're going to need you to completely change your swing because the guy in front of you and the guy behind you, they swing too much like you, and that's not good for our lineup. That doesn't work that way.
No, it's fascinating. It really is. And like I said, those numbers kind of bear it out as far as the swing path goes. That's very, very interesting.
But I liked what I saw yesterday because you did see a little bit different, maybe a different approach, especially a lot of 2-strike going the other way. I mean, Soto's 5-hit game, his swings were different on a lot of those hits. He pulled some balls, hard liners. He chopped at a couple of balls that went to the left side with 2 strikes. He is a guy who can kind of manipulate the bat a little bit, the way Tony Gwynn could. Tony Gwynn could take any kind of swing he wanted and have some success and do it differently. Not a lot of guys, like the pitchers, not a lot of guys, though, can tailor their swing to a pitcher. They go up there with the swing they've got and they hope to make good contact, but they're not going, oh, I'm facing this guy. I think I'm going to bring out
the old my whippy
inside
swing,
out swing today or whatever. It doesn't work that way for a lot of guys.
Yeah, and you're trying to catch a barrel every time. You're trying to go up there and damage the baseball every single time. That's your mentality. Is if you're a right-hander, it's I want to pound this ball. I want to take the second baseman's hat off with a line drive. I want to pound the right center gap. And that's when you'll see those guys really, really locked in. But with Juan, you see Juan Soto when he's locked in, he's going oppo with authority, which also means if he's a tick late or if he's a tick early, if he's a tick early, Ben, he's going to barrel that ball because he stays on plane, barrels that ball to the pull side. So when you're locked in, and you're seeing it. And that's exactly what happened with Juan Soto yesterday and really what's happened with him the last month or so.
I just realized something. The 7th inning stretch comes exactly 3/4 of the way through a baseball game, correct?
Yeah.
We're 3/4 of the way through our show when we get right here to the start of the 9 o'clock hour.
That's right.
The Reindl Report is our 7th inning stretch.
Yeah.
So let's all sing.
Take me
out to the ball game.
Take me out to the Reindl Report.
Yeah.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right. I don't care if I never come back. So it's root for the Padres. It's a shame if they lose. So it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Amazing.
There's
One
a
of the best-
Throwback Thursday.
Yeah,
right
one of
there
the best
too.
moments of my
Where
life.
were we?
Where was me?
That's right.
Is that Vaughn's or something? Or
Dietz and Watson.
Dietz and Watson appearance?
The grocery store.
Yeah. And that guy walked up. Oh, who are you guys? Oh, Woodsy from 97.3 The Fan. Oh, take me.
It just
And
went right into it.
launches into I'm like fumbling for my
I want to
phone.
play.
I mean, full like Nathan Lane.
You weren't prepared. You jumped in the middle of it
Yeah,
with your
but-
phone. I want to play it one more time.
But he didn't know the lyrics of
No.
one of the simplest,
You can
most
hear
well-known songs in Americana.
You can hear the point where he goes, "Oh F,
Oh no.
I don't know the next
I've
word."
forgotten the words.
I don't care if I never come back. So it's root for the Padres. It's a
Right there.
It's
There's a little breath and
crap.
what's the next line?
so it's root for the Padres. It's a shame if
They
they lose.
don't
my
win.
favorite.
It's a shame.
It's a shame if they lose. He's not wrong.
It's a shame if they lose.
It is a
The
shame.
meaning he got right. He
Yeah.
definitely got the meaning right.
Somebody asked in the chat, was he drunk? No, he was not drunk. He was stone cold sober and
Well,
awesome.
But shame rhymes with game, which is the last
Yes.
word of the song. Lose does not rhyme with game.
It's a shame if they lose.
Or it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
I like he says how he
and
says.
let's all go drink some booze.
I like how he says root.
I don't care if I never come back. So it's root for the Padres.
Uh-oh.
It's a shame if they lose.
The show must go on.
I like my new line. Where it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out. Now let's all go drink some booze.
Some booze.
I now there is some debate whether it's I don't care if I ever get back or never get back.
Like never get back to work.
Yeah, something like that, or go home, get back to home.
Yeah.
Ever or never. It's a double negative if you say never. I don't care if I
don't
never
care
get
if
back.
I ever get back. What's the
I think it should
official?
be ever, but I think the lyrics in the song are never.
All right.
I always thought it was ever. I don't know. Let's get into it. First order of business. Got my basketball team wondering. So I'm gonna apply public pressure on the air. Ben, are you gonna come and coach the tier ones tonight?
I will, for the second time, promise that I will.
Try.
And then I will decide later if I actually will.
Definitely,
maybe.
Definitely, maybe. Great movie. All right, we will start off. I got a good note here in sports. College baseball. This actually happened last week too. It's kind of bizarre what's happening around the country with hotel shortages. So, Indiana State was supposed to host their first ever NCAA Super Regionals.
Their mascot, Woods.
What is it?
Indiana State.
That is the
famous alumni of Indiana State.
Is Larry Bird.
Correct.
What the hell are they?
Think of a tree.
The fig
trees. Yes,
the
the fig
trees
trees
of Indiana
Sycamores.
State.
Six.
Sycamores.
All right.
Yes. So in college baseball, the super regionals, the regionals, you get to host those if you're the top team. And they were supposed to host it for the first time, but there is a lack of hotels around town due to the Indiana.
What is their town? That's that. I don't know that one.
I don't know where
Indiana State?
exactly
Yeah, no
Indiana State is, but the Indiana Special Olympics are in town, and that is forcing the Sycamores to now go on the road. And TCU is going to be hosting the Super Regionals. They weren't originally going to, but as a show of support, TCU fans have rallied together and they've donated over $25,000 to Special Olympics of Indiana.
Oh, that's killer.
Terre
Love that
Haute.
mo- Terre Haute.
Terre Haute, Indiana.
There was another story last week. I think we talked about it. Like
Yeah.
in Kentucky, there was a hotel shortage.
Was it women's softball or was
Yeah,
it
no, it was Kentucky. It was the
men's?
regular regionals with the
Got
four
it.
teams.
They were staying in like
the dorms
rooms.
because of
there was
the
a
there was
concert.
like like a music concert festival.
Yeah.
in town.
All right. Moving on, we talked about Messi joining Inter Miami, joining the MLS. That became official yesterday, but we didn't see this during our show. Did you see the number that he turned down for the Saudi Arabian club? 3
Staggering.
years, 3-year contract, total of $1.6 billion. Billion.
AJ Preller just offered that to Gary Sanchez
Yes.
to keep
And-
him here.
I mean,
He chose
that's
Miami. He's-
$533 million a year.
That's
Did he turn it down because you say that's too much money? I don't want that. You can't earn that back. Like you can't earn. You're not going to play up to your contract.
Well,
ever.
as we've learned this week, you can't really say no to the Saudis. They'll
Right.
just buy you anyway. So expect Saudi Arabia
Yeah,
to
they're
buy,
gonna buy
the
the
MLS.
They buy the
and
MLS.
He's
You know,
gonna be
still gonna end
kinda
up playing
screwed. Now,
fourth
I
anyway.
have not seen any of the contract numbers for Messi. I don't know if those have been disclosed. I've seen he's getting a ton of like different revenue shares with the club and like the soccer pass for Apple TV. I think it is. He's getting a share of the jersey sales and all of that.
I
But
think Adidas, who he's a sponsor of, is going to sweeten the pot quite a bit for him coming to America.
Yeah.
That's kind of a sub part of the deal. It's not officially his salary, but he's going to make more from them to do more in the United States.
and listen to the Messi effect. Saw this in 24 hours. Inter Miami went from 1 million followers on Instagram to over 5 million
Holy
in one day.
The ticket
That
prices
is
just went through the roof.
that is more than any NFL, MLB, NHL, or MLS team organization
Wow.
Instagram account.
Wow.
It's just crazy.
I
man.
wonder if he'll still be around in a couple of summers when we have our team.
Yeah.
And we'll get to see him play at Snapdragon
3-year deal, wasn't it?
against that was what he was offered in Saudi
Oh,
Arabia. I
that's
don't
what he's
know.
offered
They
there.
haven't
He's 35 years old.
yeah. He's definitely this is like David Beckham
He's about
coming
to turn
later in his
36.
career.
So
AJ Preller just offered him an 11-year deal for $7 billion.
finally got a story here. It's one of those stories that actually happened a few years back, but it all kind of concluded recently with the court case. A jury convicted an Oregon man who rigged his home with Indiana Jones booby traps and injured a federal officer.
I'm racking my brain.
71-year-old.
Which Indiana Jones? I love the booby traps in Indiana Jones. I like the one.
I'm going to
from-
save that out of
Save
context.
that out of context, please. Say it again cleanly.
I love the booby traps from
you.
Indiana
Thank you.
Jones.
Perfect.
The one
Just in
in
case.
the Last Crusade when he has to walk in the path of God.
Yes.
The name of God.
Is that only
And
the penitent
he has
man?
to walk on the letters spelling Jehovah.
Yeah.
But of course he forgets on the first step.
What is it in the
Latin
in
alphabet?
the Latin alphabet?
Jehovah
Jehovah begins with an I.
Is that your
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
Jehovah begins with an I. Did he do the big boulder?
Okay.
Running down.
Kind
like,
of.
"Ah!"
Kind of. Okay.
That's
So,
right in the beginning of Raiders of the Lost
Yeah.
Ark.
71-year-old Gregory Rodvelt in Medford, Oregon. So he lost his home in a lawsuit, and after he learned that a receiver had been appointed to sell that property, he proceeded to booby trap it.
Go ahead. Come on in.
Bomb specialists with the FBI and Oregon State Police were asked to inspect the property. After he was arrested in Arizona, unlawful possession of explosives.
Oh my God.
Yes. So when the bomb specialist got to the property, it's about 30 miles away from Medford. They came up,
Darts start shooting out of the walls.
Exactly. Dude, they came up. There was a minivan. A minivan was blocking the front gates to the house. And upon inspection of the minivan, they realized this whole place is rigged with booby traps.
Stay out of the light.
Yes, stay out of the light.
They disarmed the traps and they got to the front of the home and they spotted a hot tub that was tilted at an angle. And they said that he set up fishing line and a trap wire across the property gate that went to a round hot tub that was on its side, and it was set to roll down the hill and it would hit
Like the
whoever
boulder.
comes through the gate.
A big ass hot tub rolling down at you. Only the penitent man will pass. Only the penitent man. will
Once they got
pass.
inside, they
I
came
think that
upon
was India. Actually.
They came upon a wheelchair inside the house, and after it was bumped, it triggered a homemade shotgun device that discharged a 410 shotgun shell that struck the FBI bomb technician below the knee. He was rushed to a hospital. He was treated and released. This man faces 20 years behind bars.
Well, I mean, but for creativity, he gets an A.
Yeah, A for creativity. F for being a nice human
I
being.
suddenly remembered my Charlemagne.
Jehovah begins with an
Who can do it? It's kind of a hot.
Sean Connery.
Yeah,
Very
that's
difficult.
a difficult
to do.
accent.
It's always Scottish, though.
Yeah,
If he's playing a
Sean.
Russian submarine
Yeah.
captain or a
Sean
American
Connery.
professor, it's a Scottish accent every time.
Holy
I
crap!
just think of him on Celebrity Jeopardy on SNL. Well, I don't remember who even played him.
It was Daryl Hammond.
Yeah.
Yes.
nailed it.
That's
Just,
not what your mother said, Trebek.
just nailed it, dude. Just nailed it.
By the way, Padres aren't the only inconsistent team in baseball. We got a couple other teams that are up and down. We'll get to that coming up, and then we will look ahead. We got an off day today for the Padres still to come here. It's Ben and Woods. Be right back after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. I mentioned, Padres aren't the only team battling inconsistency, to say the least, right now. The Mets lost their 5th in a row. I guess they've been consistently bad lately. Lost to the Braves 7-5. They've gone the wrong direction. The Phillies just keep kind of going up and down lately. Wins, losses, wins, losses. They got smoked out yesterday. Their game was postponed, as was the Yankees game in New York City due to those wildfires in Canada. Angels have been up and down. They had a nice game yesterday. Mickey Moniak with 3 RBI. They beat the Cubs 6-2. Giants keep hanging around 500. They rallied to beat the Rockies 5-4. Marlins have been playing well lately, but I don't know that it counts. They won 6 straight, but it's against the A's and the Royals.
What do you mean it doesn't count?
Well, I mean, does it count to tell you that this team is? Do you know that they're playing well, or are they just playing bad teams?
I mean, bro, I don't care. They're 8-2 in their last 10. That's what I want.
Yeah, those.
When was the last time we were 8-2 in our last 10?
Those 2 were their losses to the Padres. Yeah. When the Padres took 2 out of 3, and then they came and won 6 straight against the A's and the Royals. They're getting the job done against teams they should beat.
Playing good, playing well at home. You know what their expected record, Ben, is 29-34. They are 35-28.
What's the Padres' expected record?
Padres' expected record is 33-29. We are 29-33. Wild.
Now you just flipped. The Marlins should be where the Padres are, and the Padres should be where the Marlins are. The Pirates, who we thought, hey, they're going to may stick around in this thing. They lose back-to-back to the A's all of a sudden, 9-5 yesterday. It's just you're not seeing a lot of consistency. The Dodgers lose twice in a row to the Reds.
Yeah.
The Diamondbacks have been one of the more consistent teams. They beat the Nationals 6-2 yesterday, but in the National League especially, it's been nothing but ups and downs for most of the teams. The Cardinals started horribly. Then they went on a run where they were playing the best baseball of anyone, and now they've dropped back to the worst record in the National League again. It's streaks, it's inconsistency, it's rampant.
It gives
around
you
baseball right now,
but it gives you a Padre fan hope. It gives you hope. It does. It gives you the idea that no one is grabbing the brass ring. There's a bunch of teams that are like slipping and sliding their way up the hill to get the brass ring, Ben, and you know, I'm looking, like you said yesterday, there's some teams that you mentioned yesterday that are having good seasons right now thus far. Will the cream rise to the top? We will see. Who is the cream in the National League? That's kind of the question.
We actually talked about it after the show yesterday. We saw it in the shortened season, but at some point you'll have enough parity with 3 wild card teams, 6 playoff teams. Someone will eventually make the playoffs with a 500 or even like a game under 500 record.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it'll be this season. Right now, the 3rd wild card team would be the Pirates at 32-29. I mean, they're barely above 500, and they just lost twice to the A's. It's just, you know, with that many opportunities, you don't need to win 90 games to make the playoffs anymore. 86 probably more than enough this year, I would think, to get to the postseason. Not that should be the target number for the Padres, but that's still well within reach. With 100 games to go, to get to 86 wins, the Padres would need to win 57 games. So 7 games is essentially better than 50-50.
100 games on the nose left?
Yes. Yeah. 100 games left in the season.
Interesting. Okay. We'll be right back. I'm Ben and Woods.
Thanks for that.
97.3 The Fan.
Are we tossing to break now? You just decided
where you were going.
Done with that segment?
We were done there.
Yeah, we can be done. And we'll come back and finish up the show next. It gets done 97.3 The Fan. Thank you, Woods.
Dale wants us to do a whole show as Sean Connery after that last segment.
Varied.
That would be hard.
I only know the one line, really.
Well, I mean, you'd have to create every line as Sean Connery.
I don't have that accent, though.
What accent would you do the whole show in if you could?
Boston would be my
Boston
best thing.
would be.
Yeah.
You were telling me you once got
Mikey, Ricky, Danny, Terry, Mikey, Davey, Timmy, Tommy, Joey, Robbie, Johnny, and Brian.
Someone bet you had to go through an entire breakfast as that guy.
We were in Vegas. We were in Vegas for a bachelor party. My buddy, one of my best friends in the world, Fenwick, we love all the Boston movies, and He says, "I'll give you $50 if you do the whole breakfast in your Boston accent."
Like
And I go,
order your food.
Yeah, the whole
and-
thing.
and
It was easy
Even
for
talking
you.
with talking with him.
The whole breakfast. When we sit down from when we
$50.
pay our check, I'll give you $50 cash. Just done. I was like, "Hey, hon, can we see some menus over here?" And she goes, "I'm gonna do the omelet. I'll do an omelet, sausage, orange juice. Thanks, hon." And he's like in his napkin, like snot coming out of his nose, crying. Like
That's a stranger though that you'll never meet
I
again.
couldn't care less.
Now do tomorrow's Bob Melvin interview
I couldn't
in the
do
Boston accent.
Bob, how do you explain this lack of production from
How's Xanda?
how's Xander doing? Austin Nola. I mean, what the hell's happening here? And what we could do an interview with somebody that we didn't know, and I could just pretend that I'm Boston Woods, and just do that.
We
That
have
would be
Australian Ben.
Australian Ben and
Woods.
Boston Woods.
All right, I'm gonna book somebody next.
Just
week,
a
maybe.
random-
Like,
Random guest that we've never had on
only
before.
texted or maybe like we've never actually talked to them. They have no idea what we sound like.
G'day, Tier Ones. Joining us now on our premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline is the writer of a new book out.
Lee Lowenfish. Hey, good morning, Lee. How are you? You got some good scouting stories or what? Just poor guy. It was a rough one. It happens. They're not all home runs.
I'm trying to figure out how I can ask questions about shrimp on Barbie.
They don't even. I don't even think they even say that.
They don't
over
say
there. I don't
that?
even think they do it. You expect them to when you go over there. They don't really talk. You say it over there, you look like an idiot. All right.
All right, now we can go to
Oh
our
my
break
God.
here. Last segment of Ben and Woods coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All guests on Ben Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. See how Rory McIlroy finally got to have some public comments yesterday on the merger between the PGA Tour and LIV. Yeah. Rory, who went to bat for the PGA Tour as fiercely as anyone and feels probably more betrayed than anyone, felt like a sacrificial lamb.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday. But I thought it was interesting that he also was getting over it rather quickly. He said, I mean, I don't know that there's anything we're going to do about it. He tried to put a positive spin on it, actually saying, I don't agree with it, but let's do the best we can. I mean, if we're going to take this infusion of money from the Saudi fund, then at least let's put it to good use and, do good things with it. That's all we can do at this point. So he's clearly ready to move on. Now, he also said, I still hope LIV is dead and gone and going away. I hate LIV. He said, I hate LIV, and I hope it dies right away. Greg Norman said yesterday, we're not going anywhere. We're still going to do LIV golf. I'm going, that makes no sense now. If they're all combined together,
he was so in the dark.
Why would there be any LIV golf in the future?
It's such a good lesson. It really is. And I thought about it in parallel to my own life and career. I did. Don't ever do someone's bidding for them. Does that make sense? Rory, the most outspoken, he was doing Jay Monahan's bidding for him. And it's why after a decade plus in the radio business, Ben, I will not engage in a radio war ever again.
I don't think Rory feels like I should have just taken that LIV money.
No, he doesn't.
I don't think he feels that way at all.
He feels like a sucker, though.
But I mean, how should he have acted last year?
I mean, Jay Monahan got him so fired up, and hey, get out there.
You know what? I'm just here to play golf. I'm not interested in LIV.
There's a lot of guys
I'm just going to play golf.
That's it.
And you can fight your own battles.
That's it.
I'm here to be a golfer, and that's all.
You don't do someone else's bidding for them. You just don't. And it's happened. It's happened in the radio business. It happened to me. I burned bridges based on really the direction of a boss one time, and it was at the time you feel like I'm doing the right thing. This is what my marching orders are. And I ended up doing that guy's bidding. That guy's no longer here. So, and then there's, places where I probably couldn't work. And I was looking at Rory, just that shell-shocked look on his face of like, what? Oh, he feels like a sucker. And that's, I was thinking about it yesterday, and it does hit home.
I think ultimately, and I've been listening to a lot of the experts and golfers talk about what they think is going to happen. Ultimately, there's going to be basically one giant premier world PGA Tour golf tour with the best tournaments. Hopefully, the one at Torrey Pines, the Farmers Insurance Open, will be part of it. Big purses, great fields, with all the best players from LIV and the PGA Tour showing up for, most of them. And my guess is that there's going to be a subset, like they'll include some team golf, like, hey, in these 10 events together,
sure,
we'll have like 4-man teams that also keep score, and they'll be racing for some season championship, LIV-esque kind of golf, so they can claim victory there. Yeah, well, no, we put this together and it's kind of fun, and we're going to do this going forward. But I don't think there's going to be separate tours. It's going to be the one big tour with all the best players. And then there'll probably be lesser events for guys who are trying to work their way up to the big tour, kind of like a hybrid Corn Ferry PGA Tour, rookies, young guys tour that you're working away up to the big boys money and the big boys tour at some point.
When does this all kick in?
No one really knows. Probably next year.
Okay.
At some point. I mean,
how much longer is the golf season?
Well, there's 2 majors left, the US Open and the British Open, the Open Championship. And then when that's over, it's the FedEx Cup playoffs.
Yep.
And then at the end of August,
which LIV guys will not be able to play in this year.
No, they will not. And at the end of August, it's pretty much over. They have the fall season, but that's kind of different. That's separate. So they could change that around. So we could be finding out in the next couple of months what the future of golf looks like.
Well, I'm telling you, we had Alan Shipnuck on yesterday, and he wrote the book on Phil Mickelson. It's one of the best books. You don't have to like golf, and it's just a fascinating character study into one of the most fascinating human beings still walking the planet. It's Phil Mickelson, no question about it. Just riveting. His live book is a must buy, and he had to rewrite. He's having to rewrite.
Probably won't be out for a
while.
couple months, few months, but it'll be a must read when it comes out.
I can't wait. I just can't wait. It is the business of golf has become super fascinating, and now with Full Swing, creating new fans, they're going to have all this at some point. It's outstanding. It's just outstanding, and it's been such a dramatic year in the world of golf. And then you got live golfers like Brooks Koepka winning majors, and it's riveting. If you like good sports stories, that's one of them. You don't really even have to like golf.
No,
I know a lot of people that watch Full Swing or not golf fans. I still get DMs all the time like, all right, I got to try this. I went to the range. I was terrible. What do you recommend I do? I'm like, bro, get lessons, go to YouTube, get a couple, general ideas, and then just go out and play and practice, and just please don't play in front of me.
If you haven't played before and you're going, if you ever get out there, the feeling of hitting one pure golf shot,
just one,
and seeing it fly up in the air, a couple of 100 yards out, is amazing.
Maybe
I just did that.
Maybe like a 5-iron, 204 out over trees, and you stick it to 8 feet.
What a great shot you hit.
That was a 5-iron.
That was amazing. Woods hit the best shot of the day.
It was the best shot of my life
on Tuesday at La Costa.
It was unbelievable. I've been thinking about it ever since. So that's all you need is one like that, and you're like, I am hooked. And I'm
It's so tricky because you were just talking about, you made the joke, don't play in front of me.
Yeah,
and I totally get it. And I'm kind of on board with that, but it's so tough with golf. It's not like you're trying to learn how to play basketball. You can go to a gym, a court by yourself,
yes.
work on your free throw. Like, you have to go out on
a golf course.
You can't get good by just going to the range.
Range doesn't mean it. Literally
playing
means
on a
nothing.
mat is night and day from being on the actual course and dealing with the elements, the sand traps.
I'm Ranger Rick. Everything's hitting great. And you get on the course.
So how do you tell somebody well, you got to go out on a course, but
go, just don't play in front of me.
It's going to be a long day. You're going to piss off everyone around.
Here you go. Just be aware that you suck and pick up when you need to pick up, and let people play through. That's it. Just have the even if I'm staring down the barrel of a 10 on a hole, I'll just pick up. What am I going to do? I'll give myself my 10 or my 8. And I'll walk off. I mean, and I'm nothing special, but it's all about keeping the game moving.
We got tomorrow morning to look ahead to the Rocky series. We'll talk to Bob Melvin and our Friar Friday. 9 a.m. tomorrow?
8:35.
8:35 tomorrow with the skipper, Bob Melvin from Colorado. So why don't we finish things up after traffic by spinning the topic wheel? I haven't done that all week long.
I love it.
We'll do that after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Buick GMC of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Vicky Pepper.
This report brought to you by Viejas Casino and Resort. Lots of brake lights on the 94 West heading into downtown. Things start to load up at the 805. Your average speed of the 5 is about 10 miles an hour. Also got slowing on both sides of the 5 as you come away from the 92. That's due to lanes being closed for bridge inspection. Your local traffic is brought to you by the easiest casino to drive to. Viejas is just 25 minutes from downtown San Diego and one simple exit off the 8 freeway. No topsy-turvy, poorly lit roads are needed to win big. Arrive safely at San Diego's luxury gaming destination, Viejas Casino and Resort. I'm Vicky Pepper in for Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Right on the line here, but the question is, which foreign language would you like to learn?
Ooh.
None of us speak a foreign language, right?
No.
I mean, I took several years of Spanish.
You can't even roll your R's.
I can't even roll my R. I'm getting better, though. I practiced on the golf course on Tuesday.
Yes, we know. You did it all
incessantly.
day long.
Potty. Thank you to Tim in Oceanside. Gave me that trick to help me roll my R's. I think, though, if I could just snap my fingers and I knew another language, I think I'd pick Chinese.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'd give you a huge advantage in certain business element. It's just a valuable skill. Very good part of the global economy. not that many people in this country can speak it fluently. Your services would be in high demand.
My son's best friend is Jackson, and he's 5, and he takes Chinese. His mom's Chinese, so he leaves like on Mondays. He leaves early to go to do his Chinese classes. I would pick Spanish. I would, because I would like to go down into the clubhouse and be able to chop it up with guys, and they'd feel much more comfortable talking to you if you were fluent. One of my favorite things, and I love this. I love Danny, who works for the Padres, Danny Sanchez, who's the interpreter. It's literally one of my favorite things when Bob Scanlon interviews a Spanish player and they use Danny as the interpreter. He's so good. He's like the best, and
Bob's also fluent in Spanish.
Yeah, but he always asks the questions in English for the audience and everything else. So
he could ask both, though.
He could
do it all.
He could. It's really, really good. I would pick Spanish, but like unquestionably.
There's such a key, like, to being a good translator, and Danny does a good job. You have to make it sound conversational.
Yeah,
and include like, we were here, we were thinking this in the second inning and blah blah blah, and you can't just.
What were you looking for on that pitch?
I was looking for a slider on that pitch.
Right, exactly.
You kind of have to make it sound like they're talking, but in a different language.
Danny crushes it. It's so good to. I love watching.
Now, what's the coolest sounding language? If you just wanted to sound
Italian.
cool,
yeah,
better than French,
Italiano.
Which I think Italian is a lot easier if you know Spanish.
Yeah, I've heard
I
that.
think there's a lot of similarities.
The Romance languages, Spanish,
French,
Italian,
yeah,
all similar.
I would have liked
structure.
to know. I would have liked to know French when I went there because they made fun of us incessantly. We knew it. We couldn't do anything about it. They're looking at you, laughing at you.
German, not really. No,
it's not a. I've heard. I was on a plane with the German volleyball team one time, and it was a tough ride. It was a tough hang. It was. I had to crank the Stone Temple Pilots in my ear or something very loud because it was a tough hang. Nothing against
Paulie. Did you pick
German
a
people,
language?
I took 3 years of Spanish in high school. Don't remember much. Just remember like taking the classes. It was a lot of. It wasn't like conversational. I wasn't able to like talk with people.
But what would you pick though? Spanish?
It's Spanish for
Spanish,
sure.
yeah. Spanish is.
I would like to expand my Spanish knowledge, my very, very minimal
I know
amount.
lots of curse words in Spanish, which I enjoy very much. Question for you guys: we can't curse on the air. Can I curse in Spanish on the air?
That's a good question. I don't
That's
know.
something. Is that something we can run by?
When
the
I see
boss?
Adam, we will ask him.
Okay, because I'd love to do that. I'd mix that in on the daily if I could.
Like in other places, can they curse in English?
In English,
where they speak other
can Spanish
languages?
Ben and Woods say the F word on their airwaves? Wonder they probably don't have the same stringent rules that we have.
Maybe
here,
not. We're a
right?
bit prudish usually as a
Yeah,
society.
we are. I
All
like
right,
that.
one more spin before we go.
Oh yeah.
All right, Paulie's getting the wheel ready one more time.
Crank that soldier boy.
Kind of along the same lines here. What country do you most want to travel to?
Oh, and not China.
Yeah. So I mean, what was your point then? Just a San Diegan knowing Chinese. I don't know how much use you'd get.
That's a good point. I don't have a dream of visiting. I would like to go to Japan though.
Me
Very
too.
much would like to go to Japan.
Because of the geishas, you said. That's what you told me.
That's not what I said.
You said to me and
No,
Paul,
it's-
I'd like to experience what
I
a
heard
geisha.
I like the sushi and the sake.
No, you said
and-
geisha.
I don't even really know what that is.
Okay.
I mean, like do you know what it is? Like,
I think so.
technically? I don't think it's what you maybe think.
I
it is.
understand. But you said it. I didn't say it. You said I would like to experience a geisha girl. That was a direct quote.
Said it on the golf course.
He said on the
in
golf
between
course.
patati.
That's exactly right.
What
I don't
about
know.
you, Woods? Country?
Where would I want to go
Yeah.
travel? I need to do more of Europe. It's calling my name. Italy is calling my name.
I've been to Italy. It
all
was
up-
amazing.
Up and down, man. Up and down.
If I
the-
hadn't
the
been to Italy,
boot.
then Italy would probably be my choice.
Spain, all Europe. I mean, I would just want to go. I missed my window. I decided that, spent my money on other things instead of going to travel when I was young and free. And now, I would like to do it with my wife at some point. But I'm, when am I going to take like 3 weeks off the show to go traipse around Europe? Maybe someday when I'm retired. But Yeah, I would love just more European country. Damn near all of them. There's really no European country I don't want to visit. I want to go to Norway, Sweden, Finland. I want to see all of that. So I'm very fascinated by Europeans and their culture. What about you?
Latvia,
Yes, absolutely. Estonia,
Lithuania,
sure.
the Baltic states.
Yes, love it. I would love to see all of that.
Poland, Romania. Actually, I would love to go through Europe. That would be a lot of
Would be
fun.
great. What about you, Paulie?
Italy.
The mother doesn't work.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, Italy, I had a friend go to Iceland, Reykjavik.
Reykjavik.
They said it was unbelievable.
Iceland.
You-
Incredible.
Good call.
Great
I like
choice.
that one.
All
I
right.
think that could go on the list as well.
Make that happen.
All right, Thursday a show is up. Bob Melvin tomorrow at 8:30 on a Friar Friday. That's it for us. Coach up next for Paul Reindl and Stephen Woods. I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your day from all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.